And welcome to another edition of the Triple M Pulling Truck Series. Here tonight, folks, we're going to set our Championship 6 here in sweet home Talladega. Going to take on those high banks, but of course I am joined by my wonderful companions here at Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Here tonight we have Michael McKinnon, Jacob Reeves, and Adam Flieger giving you all those sights and sounds of tonight's race. Guys, we're in for one heck of a race. I mentioned we're going to set that Championship 6. Jacob, you also shine at these high banks. Tell us about this race here tonight.
Well, Will, and everybody at home, if you're trying to find a good thing to watch tonight, you might want to settle in, get you some popcorn, get you something very cold refreshment, because I'm telling you, you're going to have a blast watching this. This place is a monster, 2.66 miles in length. Wide as you can get, 33 degrees of banking in these turns. These guys are going to be able to go 3 and 4 wide, sometimes even 5 wide if they can make it stick. But here at this track, it is very, very treacherous of the big one. It's the multi-car accident that always claims everybody that's involved in it. It could be one little slip, and it could take any of these guys out. And right here with this championship in place going into Championship 6 next week, this right here is going to be the ultimate wild card to see who's going to be able to make it to Charlotte next week.
Yeah, Jacob, and you just touched on it. And Michael, I wanted to ask you, it's always awesome to have a driver up here in the booth. Does this race here, we talked about it, this is the high banks. You could set yourself in that Championship 6 for Charlotte next week. Is there any extra nerves inside the cockpit of these trucks here tonight?
I'll tell you what, Will, I don't think it'll be a lot of nerves. I think what it is a lot of strategy. Stage points are going to be huge for these guys like Cody Knott, Clean Cart, guys like this. They need to get to the front. They need to get some stage points. And as Jacob brought up, this 33 degrees of banking, you can run 3 wide comfortably. The problem is you get caught in a wrong situation and your championship dreams can go away in an instant.
Well, here we go. That field is set for those championship dreams that you were just talking about, Michael. And you also talked about a guy who spent a lot of time on the lead. Devin Painter, last week's winner, is going to continue that hot streak starting on the pole here tonight. Second place position is going to be Stephen Thomas. Derek Kilgore is going to roll off third here tonight. Adam Newton is going to roll off fourth, with Robbie Richards in that 48 machine rounding out our top 5. Jacob Plinkart in that 5 machine is going to roll off 6th. Ed Osborne in that 42 machine is going to roll off 7th. 8th position is going to be the 96 of James D. Morris. The 9th position is going to be the 3 of Chris Cinnamon. And rounding out our top 10 is the 4 machine of the money man, Adam Newberg.
Then we'll have Keith Bradley. He'll be bringing in the 11th position. Blake Lothan will start 12th. Wait for this to flip. I can't quite see the screens. There we go. Ashley Dotson will be 13th. Jose Luis Rivera will start 14th. Zach Hartwick will be 15th. Huck Wigington 16th. Joey Doucette 17th. A name we haven't talked about in a long time, but raced with us for a long time. Jonathan Munda back with us there, 18th. Taylor Peacock, one of the absolute aces of these tracks. You look for him to be moving forward. He'll be 19th, and Dane Hagen will start 20th.
Yeah, and you see Brandon Bullock going to be in the 21st spot. Kyle Hess in 22nd. Raul Meza is going to be in 23rd. Eric Zimmerman 24th. TJ Moore going to be in 25th. And Cody Knott all the way back in the last spot out of these 26 drivers.
Ooh, guys, the stage is set. I gotta say, I'm kind of nervous up here in the booth. We knew how much was on the line in our Monday night series in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Adam Newberg ended up taking home that championship fund of over $400. So I only can imagine what's at stake for these drivers to get into that Championship 6 at Charlotte next week. And guys, before that green flag drops, it's only going to come down to 2 points right now. That's what separates Jose Luis Rivera and Cody Knott and that 26 machine. But once again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight, and that field's going to roll into 3 and 4, guys. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm absolutely excited for this race right here. All these guys just getting their nerves wound up right here, going down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch, fixing to go into turn number 3, and we're going to see really what's going to happen right here. Cody Knott actually all the way in the back in the 26th spot. Maybe that's a planned move for Cody Knott tonight to see if he's going to be able to make it through to the next round. That might have been just a plan for him, but we'll see how that works out for him tonight.
Let's get this A's Lawn and Landscaping 200 started. Right now, the Pace truck is about to pull off. Devin Painter, of course, is going to lead the way in that 99 machine. You saw him win the race last week in dominating fashion, winning by over 7 seconds. Going to be a little hard to do that here tonight as we cruise down this famous long front stretch of Sweet Home Talladega. We're ready. The drivers are ready. The green flag is in the air as we cruise through the Geico restart zone. Let's get it started down to corner number 1.
And it looks like Painter's going to keep it right here on the bottom of the racetrack, not really be able to jump up. Stephen Thomas is actually going to get a little bit of a shove, see if he can actually get around Painter. Looks like Kilgore is going to be trying to get up here and get a hold of Painter as well. They're going to go side by side off of turn number 2. Wow, looks like Thomas just giving all that he can right here to keep it going, and Newton is straight up his tailgate as they go down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch for the first time. To you, Michael.
Yeah, and as these drivers bring it up to full song, you see Painter on the bottom, a little help from Kilgore there. We've got Stephen Thomas on the outside, Adam Newton right up his tailgate. These things are finally coming up to full song. The draft is coming into effect, and now we're going to have 2 by 2 by 2, as Wesley likes to say, all the way down the front stretch.
As they're coming around right here, it looks like Stephen Thomas is going to be able to take that lap from Devin Painter. He's going to slide straight down in front of him and basically just get that easy way around, the shortest way around this track. Leave Newton all the way up top. Looks like that's Clinkhart that's going to be right behind him as they're coming off of turn 2. Clinkhart actually gets into the back of Newton a little bit. Now he's going to shove him to the outside. They're going to go 3 wide, and it looks like Adam Newbert is going to slide up here and see if he can make a run right here for the front.
Yeah, 3 wide for just a minute there as Stephen Thomas takes us through the apex of 3 and 4. Right now, some movement on the high side right now. The middle is still occupied, not creeping up though. They're parallel with about the 4th position on the racetrack as we come across the track. Just a few laps into the race right now as we cruise down to corner number 1. Stephen Thomas still leading the way, guys. Stage number 1 is going to end at lap 22. Watch out here for those cautions to fly.
But you better watch out. Here comes Jacob Clinkhart with Adam Newbert all over him. Just literally shoved him all the way to the lead. He's not clear yet, but Thomas is going to fight back on the bottom with Painter, trying to give him a little bit of help. Most of the help on the bottom of the racetrack, not many on the top. Looks like there's about 6 of them on the top and the rest of the pack down on the bottom. But for right now, it's all Jacob Clinkhart at the front.
Yeah, now these drivers negotiate turn 3 and 4 here, folks at home. You'll see the shortest way around will pull itself back up. The top line usually has momentum down the straight. That's why you'll see them push out just a little bit more. It'll be up to each driver if they want to drop to the bottom, leave the person that's helping them, or if they're going to stay on the top and keep it going.
And Clinkhart's still going to keep it on the top, as you said, and Painter's still trying to keep it on the bottom. Or excuse me, that's Thomas and Painter as well. Both of them lined up. I mean, you could almost see both of these guys. It looks like they're both running the same truck because both of them is all over one another. Clinkhart still trying to run the top with Newbert trying to push him. Now Painter is going to get right up on the back of Thomas. Looked like he almost got him in the right rear, trying to give him a little bit of a push. But right now, Stephen Thomas has got the lead as they go into 3.
Yeah, no separation in the field so far. Stephen Thomas going to take us through 3 and 4 right now. Last week's winner, Devin Painter, in that 99, still on that back bumper. Jacob Clinkhart still holding it down on that top side lane. I'm starting to see the brief red shine coming off Adam Newbert's truck right now as we come across that start-finish line. Stephen Thomas going to notch another lap in the books. He's going to take us down to corner number 1.
And I'll say this right now, guys, that top lane looks, for a second, it looked like it was actually fixing to dissolve. You have one that was going down. I figured a couple of them would actually come down and just line up trying to get to this stage break, but it doesn't really look like it right now. Side by side with Clinkhart and Stephen Thomas up at the front of this field. Newbert still trying to help Clinkhart as well. Painter literally shoving Stephen Thomas all the way into turn number 3.
Yeah, great shove from Painter there. Gets Thomas out front. What I'm noticing, guys, as we're working our way back to 3 and 4, the guys that need the points, they are coming to the front. Klinkhardt, Rivera, Richards, all within the top 10 right now. So they're going to work through the tri-oval. This is a great shot. Within the next 10 laps or so, you'll see these guys get a little squirrely here as they're getting ready to shear it off back into turn 1.
Stephen Thomas still got it on the bottom, and Painter still got basically painting the back bumper, if you will, of Stephen Thomas. Now they've actually, both of them have actually cleared Jacob Klinkhardt. That's going to be real big news right here. We'll see if Painter's going to see if he can go to the top. No, he will not. Klinkhardt's still going to get that run. He'll be side by side with Painter as they're fixing to go into turn number 3. Wow. Oh my goodness. Thomas got a little bit loose. Painter got him in the right rear. But as they go into turn number 3, Stephen Thomas still has the lead.
Yeah, just a few laps into this race. It's already nerve-wracking for both us commentators and the drivers here tonight as Stephen Thomas will take us off of 4. No separation so far here tonight, guys. A brief fan out about the 10th or 11th position so far, though. Very airtight at the top of the grid as Stephen Thomas is going to take us across that line down to corner number 1, Jacob.
And Klinkhardt's still going to run the top. Newbert, both of these guys trying to figure out a way to see if they can get around Stephen Thomas the best they possibly can, but Painter just will not go away from Stephen Thomas. Now Klinkhardt all the way up to his door. We'll see if Newbert's going to be able to give him a little bit of a push. Looks like he's going to be able to. Now Klinkhardt is actually cleared. We'll see if Newbert will try to push him and see if they can get clear and slide down in front of Stephen Thomas. But for right now, Klinkhardt is the leader as they go into 3.
A couple new players starting to put their nose in the line there. Then you see Blake Lothian, the winner from Monday night's Roval race, up to 4th on the outside. Derek Kilgore holding strong. Robbie Richards 4th in line on the bottom. As we said, these guys need the points. The other guys, they're laying back right now.
And Thomas is going to be able to get clear now of Jacob Klinkhardt right now. Painter is going to see if he can try to push him back. See if they can both get clear again. It looked like Painter was actually wanting to go to the top and see if Klinkhardt was going to be able to push him past Stephen Thomas. We'll see what happens now. Painter is clear. Here comes Klinkhardt. Klinkhardt's going to get the run off of Newbert. Here they go. It's basically the same thing that happened on the last lap. Painter wants to get up and see if he can get around Stephen Thomas, but he's not able to as Thomas leads into 3.
Yeah, championships can be decided right here, folks. 22 laps here in stage number 1. How tight these points are. Those stage points could boost you into that championship 6. Right now, though, we're drag racing down the front stretch. It is Stephen Thomas and Jacob Klinkhardt in that 5 machine. Looks like Jacob's just going to inch him across the start-finish line. He'll take us down to corner number 1.
And Klinkhardt got that push from Newbert. Same thing that it's been happening. Same song, same dance right here. Stephen Thomas going to lead them back into turn number 2. Painter with Klinkhardt up on his top side. Newbert still trying to see if he can get something going. And here comes Jose Luis Rivera, one of those guys that barely snuck into this round to be able to have a shot in the championship 6. He's all the way up here in the top 5, seeing if he can try to get something going.
Yeah, that's going to do nothing but help him with this point battle with Cody Knott and Klinkhardt right there. He's 2 up on him. If he can get some stage points while the others can't, that's going to help whether he gets caught up in a big one or not later on. These guys doing a fantastic job 2 by 2 as we go to 1.
And Painter jumps to the top. He finally was able to get something going. He's going to jump up in front of Klinkhardt. Now it's Kilgore that's going to be behind Stephen Thomas. We'll see what Painter does right here. See if he's going to try to pull Klinkhardt around. No, he will not. Side by side, Stephen Thomas and Devin Painter now is up on the top. Kilgore right up Stephen Thomas's tailgate. Now we're going to see what Painter's got something for him right here. Kilgore all over the back bumper of Stephen Thomas, and now here comes Klinkhardt all over the back bumper of Devin Painter.
Oh, inch by inch, mile by mile, this race is ticking down already in stage number 1. We're 10 laps into this race. We've been airtight at the top of the grid so far. We're going to ride on board with the 5 machine of Jacob Klinkhardt here. Some wonderful shots provided by Adam Flieger and the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. As we're across that start-finish line, once again, we see the 5 machine pushing along that 99 down to corner number 1.
Real calm back in the back of the field, but they are going at it up here in the front. Looks like Clinkart was all over the back of Painter. Thomas still trying to fight Painter as much as he possibly can. Kilgore up his back bumper. Now here we go. Here goes the top lane. Jose Luis Rivera is up there in that top lane trying to see if he can draft off these two guys and see what happens. Clinkart, Painter down to the bottom in turn 3.
Your power move there from Clinkart and Painter as they're able to push their way past Stephen Thomas as they enter 3, drop down, get yourself in the right position to get these points. Jacob and David do a great job on the outside right there. Now that's going to open the door for Jose if he can get some help to try to move his way to the front, win a stage, or get as many points as possible.
Yeah, but that top lane is dissolving very, very fast. Once Painter and Clinkart jump to the bottom, that whole top lane just pretty much just backed straight up. And Jose Luis Rivera, if he could have got just a little bit more and got in front of Stephen Thomas, that would have helped him out a ton. Now he might actually get just a little bit of help like here. Looks like it's Robbie Richards is going to jump up to the top. He will. And Jose Luis Rivera is going to see if he can get something going right here, see if he can push him to the front in turn 3.
Yeah, Devin Painter, last week's winner is going to take us off of 3 and 4. We already see this top side lane already starting to stack up. There goes Clinkart. Oh, he's going to think about it to the top side. He'll have a run, though. He'll have a lot of help from that top side lane, pushing him along. It's still side by side across the start-finish line. Down to corner number 1. Will Clinkart lead another lap in the books? Yes, as he goes down to corner number 1 as our race leader.
These guys are playing a 180-mile-per-hour game of chess right now at the front of this field. Clinkart jumping to the top, seeing if he's going to get a little bit of help from Robbie Richards. Richards, we'll see what he can do, see if he can push Clinkart past Painter. Painter, last week's winner, as Will mentioned, is trying to get it all right here on the bottom. Stephen Thomas up his tailgate. All 4 of these trucks, tailgate to back bumper to front bumper as they go into turn number 3.
Yeah, we keep seeing the same players at the front. This is kind of what we expected. The guys that need the points are up here right now. The guys are a little more secure in the back. Starting to also see a little bit of tires come in. Starting to see a lot more wiggles. It can hurt you in the tri-oval. It can hurt you everywhere on this course. You see the top lane. Big push from Richards is going to get Clinkart out in front as they cross the line and head to 1.
And Richards is going to go down to the bottom. Remember that double yellow line. They cannot pass below that line to improve their position, and Robbie Richards was far from going below it. So Richards going to be on the bottom. Looks like Clinkart's still up top. Jose Luis Rivera still trying to push him the best that he can. And here comes Jonathan Munda, all the way back, started in 18th position up here, running in the top 10, almost in the top 5 as they go into turn 3.
Yeah, big movers already in the race, but what I'm starting to watch for, these trucks starting to get a little squirrely on the racetrack right there as we had a big move to the inside lane as the inside lane trying to stack up off of 4. Well, watch this going on here, guys. Are we starting to see a little bit of tire wear starting to come into play here in stage number 1?
Yeah, I think we are just a little bit. Everybody trying to get where they can get, trying to slip and slide where they can. But up front, Clinkart gets around Robbie Richards. Jose Luis Rivera still trying to push him up through there. Blake Lothian, one of these guys that were back in the back, started 12th all the way up here in the top 5. Now that top lane's starting to get a little bit of organization. Looks like the bottom line is actually going to be disorganized as they go into turn number 3. Clinkart, Robbie Richards battling it out.
Teammates on the bottom, teammates on the top, all of them needing points except for Devin Painter there. He's been eliminated even though he won last week. But you got your teammates of Rivera, Clinkart up top, teammates of Richard and Painter on the bottom. This is going to get exciting. We're just going to have about 7 to go till the end of the stage when they cross the line and head it back into 1 rather.
And that's going to be really, really key right there for these stage points for these guys that need them. Like you said, they are up front trying to get what they can get. But one guy that ain't got to worry about it, that's Devin Painter. He's going to try to see if he can do another spoil like he did last week. But he's got to get through Robbie Richards and Jacob Clinkart, who is up front. Jose Luis Rivera still trying to give a little bit of a push to Clinkart, trying to make sure that he doesn't spin him out as they go into turn number 3. But right now, Robbie Richards has the advantage.
And you see Robbie Richards in that 48 machine had to regain control of that truck, looked very sideways catching that draft. Right there, we see the 15 machine running on the low side of the racetrack here, way off the pace. That's Jonathan Munda. Jacob, you just talked about the run. He was inside the top 10. Looks like something may have happened inside the 15.
I think, honestly, I think he just dropped to the back, honestly. Will, these guys right here going left, right, forward, backward, however you want to look at it. They're going all over the place trying to get these stage points. So I think Jonathan Mundo was actually laying back and trying to preserve himself for this race. As you see, Painter's going to actually drop to the bottom and let these guys duke it out. He knows what's coming right here in the next couple laps, is that we're going to have a stage break for the caution. But I think that's what some of these guys are doing. They're dropping back to not get caught up in any mess that could happen here in a little bit.
Yeah, Jacob, that's 100% right. We race with these guys each week. Everybody knows who they do trust, who they don't trust. And then you can also see the wiggles. The wiggles are starting to show up. That scares the heck out of guys. You're out on and off the gas all day long as this battle just rages for the front point position right here. Just give me your impression of how the wiggles are right in this corner.
They are wiggling. They are going at it right now. But the one man right here that we have got to talk about, once again, the 20 truck of Jose Luis Rivera. Remember, if you've joined in our previous broadcast, he barely squeaked in, like I said, to this round. Here he is up here trying to battle for stage points, trying to battle for the win. That way he can go to Charlotte next week and run for a championship, but he's got to fight off Jacob Klinkhardt, who is leading at this moment.
Yeah, and if we could stay on board with the 20 machine right here, look at that shot. Michael, you were just talking about when you start to see the wiggles. Well, I'm starting to see it right now. Jose has to keep both hands on that wheel. You're starting to see that truck start to give way back and forth on the racetrack. It's going to become incredibly difficult here these last few laps in stage number 1.
Yeah, but he is holding it to the tee right now up on that top lane, trying to get all the momentum he possibly can. Blake Lothian trying to give him a shot, as well as Brandon Bullock, who was all the way back in the back. A bunch of these guys that you see up front started in the back at this race, and that is not rare to see that here at Talladega Superspeedway. Guys dropping to the back and then going all the way to the front. They can do that real quick, but I'm telling you, they are airtight up here at the front of this field.
And people watching at home, they wonder how these guys can catch back up so fast. When you come into a corner, if you push the truck in front of you, the truck in front of you is going to wreck. So there's always that little lift. If you can peg it, stick it to the outside, get away from it, you can make up ground in a hurry. And we're seeing a lot of these guys from the back to the front really quick.
2 laps to go right here to the stage break, and Jose Luis Rivera coming all the way from 14th up here, led that lap. Klinkhardt on the bottom, trying to get a little bit of a side draft right here by Jose Luis Rivera, seeing if he can get a little bit of a side draft, push him back, or pull him back, excuse me. But right now, he's got Blake Lothian pushing him. Bullock up there as well. Kilgore, Robbie Richards, all of them trying to see if they can get something going right here with Jacob Klinkhardt.
And right now, we're getting closer and closer up there. Watch out right now as Blake Lothian, that 43 truck, almost made contact right now. Jacob Klinkhardt will take us out the corner. A little bit of a wiggle right there. You see the top side is going to stay solid, though. Jacob Klinkhardt's going to take us across that start-finish line. Jose Luis Rivera, though, with a big push out of Blake Lothian, that 43 truck, as we go down to corner number 1.
And the time is now right here for your stage points. Jose Luis Rivera knows that. Robbie Richards knows that. Klinkhardt knows that. Every single one of these guys knows what they got to do. We'll see what Klinkhardt does, see if he jumps up and blocks. No, he does not. He will keep it on the bottom. Rivera gets to his right rear. Here comes Robbie Richards, going to give him a shot. Everybody trying to see if they can catch Klinkhardt as they go into 3.
New players, Chris Cinnamon trying to catch on to the back of the top 10. He's a guy that's 9 points to the good, needs the points. I think we're going to have 1 lap to go. It'll be at the finish of 22 when we get our results. But these guys right here, watch for the action. Everybody's going to try to get as much as they can on this final lap.
And Rivera looked like he's actually wanting to go to the bottom, see if he can hold off Jacob Klinkhardt. Rivera, and one of those guys needing the points as well. Klinkhardt needs them. Everybody in the field needs them. But right now, it's Klinkhardt up front. Rivera trying to come down, see if he can get a little bit of side draft. Pull him back. Now Lothian's going to come up. Hit him in the tailgate. Give him a push. See what they can do. Kilgore right behind every bit of this. Bullock. All these guys back here. Chris Cinnamon trying to see if he can make a move up through here to get him some extra points as well. everybody going for it as they go into turn number 3.
Oh my goodness, Jacob, we're 3 wide right there for third. It looks like on the racetrack. No, that'll falter off right now as Jacob Plinkart will take us off of 4. Jose Luis Rivera in the middle with Blake Lothian, that 43 truck. There goes Stephen Thomas to the top side as well. Huge run out of the 23 truck though. Jacob Plinkart is going to lead the inside lane across the start-finish line and win stage number 1 of the A's Lawn and Landscaping 200. But guys, that top 10 is everything but jumbled.
It is jumbled up 9 ways to Sunday right now. I mean, you got guys that started up front. They finished up front in this stage. You got some of these guys that were closer to the back actually jumped up here and got some stage points. Rivera was one of them. It looks like Blake Lothian was one of them. So a bunch of these guys that are back here that started at the back of this field, or I guess you could say the mid-pack of this field, jumped up here, grabbed some ever-needing stage points. But I'm telling you, Plinkart had a rear-view mirror full of all of it. And I'm telling you right now, I know he had to be scared just a little bit seeing everything go on around him.
Yeah, the big winners right there is going to be Plinkart. He needed some. He was 6 points down. Richards was 6 points down, I think. Both of them accomplished what they needed to accomplish right off the bat. The loser right there is going to be Cody Knott. He's going to have to either get some points next stage or he's going to have to set this up to get a win.
Well, Jacob Plinkart in that 5 machine wins stage number 1. Let's take a look at those point standings before we go to break, just so the folks at home knows what's at stake here tonight. You just saw Jacob Plinkart in that 5 win stage number 1, comes into this race 6 points behind. I'm sure that gap's going to close a little bit here. But we're going to take a break here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. We'll be right back for the drop of the green flag in stage number 2. Welcome back, everybody, to Sweet Home Talladega. We just saw the conclusion of stage number 1 here in the A's Lawn and Landscaping 200, and that, guys, was quite an exciting stage that was won by number 5, Jacob Plinkart, right here. And Michael, you said it off air was going to be calm, and then Jacob, you said that was everything but calm on the racetrack. Were you guys surprised at that high pace in stage number 1?
I mean, I was actually very surprised with all that they was racing. I figured that some of these guys would actually be very calm just to get through this stage. I figured it was going to get ramped up as we got to that stage break, because we talked about it with this playoff system. Every point matters. Every little stage point's going to matter. So I knew it was going to get riled up. I mean, it was actually very calm. You know, some guys practicing, or I guess you could say practicing, trying to get runs, seeing or what they could do for the first part of it. And then right there with that second part, I mean, it was just, it was getting crazy. Michael, you called that right there.
I've raced 6 seasons with these guys. I should have raced tonight, but I got in a little late, so I wanted to help you guys out. Is the patience out of guys. You don't sometimes see patience on these tracks. They were able to get in line, run around, log some laps, I know people at home want to see the crazy 3 wide all the time, and I promise you're going to see that here in a little while, because a win and you're in next week if you need to get there. So a lot of guys are holding back right now. They're waiting for the big one. We know that's probably coming at some point. We hope it don't, but we kind of know it's coming. So these guys are going to put some laps in. We're going to get all set up for that final stage.
And Michael, just real quick, I mean, you've raced with these guys, as you said, you've raced with them for 6 seasons. Is there any of these guys that you may have an eye on that are the plate racers, I guess you could say, that, you know, some of the folks at home would probably be watching for in this race that may be able to get up here and spoil it, or possibly, you know, just some of the better plate racers in this series?
Cleancart and Richards both have wins, but you see Chris Cinnamon sitting there in 6th. He's got wins. You look for Taylor Peacock, will be on the move. Keith Bradley will be on the move. Cinnamon, all the up front guys are going to be on the move. What Robbie's going to need, he's going to need Kyle Hess, Devin Painter, some of his teammates up there, or it could get ugly for some of these guys later. But you understand what I'm saying. These guys are waiting in the back that are fairly secure in their playoff position, and then they're going to go later.
As the pace track pulls off, the trucks will thunder down that long front stretch here at Sweet Home Talladega. Robbie Richards, one of those drivers that's in the red, that wants to be that Cinderella, that crashes the ball, that makes it in on a win. Here we go. Start of stage number 2 of the A's Lawn Landscaping 200 as Jacob Cleancart and Robbie Richards take us down to corner number 1.
Cleancart's going to get a little bit of a jump right there on that restart. We'll see if Robbie Richards can do anything with it. He will. He'll actually side draft Cleancart, try to pull him back. That's going to pull Derek Kilgore all the way up to Cleancart's back bumper. Robbie Richards still going to be up top with Blake Lothian right behind him. And check this out, Stephen Thomas going to be up here as well. Kilgore actually going to drop to the bottom of the racetrack. A bunch of, actually 1 or 2 guys going to the back right here. Going to drop back to the back, but right now, Cleancart, Richards battling it out as they go into 3.
Yeah, good push gone bad on Kilgore there as he gets shuffled out and out of the way. Everybody start watching for this top line right here. These 3 guys that are in line are 3 of the best drafters around. Of course, the guys on the bottom. Cleancart's got to win. Stephen Thomas, multiple-time winner. Rivera's got to win on a big track here. They're all good at this, but these guys are going to get a huge run on Robbie right here. Let's see what happens.
And Richards tried to see if he could hold that run back a little bit, give Cleancart a little bit of a side draft, but both of them just driving it out. Richards giving all he can on the side draft, and side drafting Cleancart really, really hard, trying to pull him back the best that he possibly can. Whoa. That's going to bring Blake Lothian right up to his back bumper, give him a huge shot. We'll see if Richards drops to the bottom. Yes, he will. New leader here at Talladega. That's Robbie Richards.
Yeah, huge run out of the 43 truck there. Went right in the bumper of the 48 machine, who's now our race leader off of 4. Again, Robbie Richards was in the red coming in here tonight. It's a win and you're in situation for that championship 6 at Charlotte Motor Speedway next weekend. Though here tonight we're going to run 46 laps here in stage number 2. Jacob, now Blake Lothian leads the way in that 43 truck.
And Chris Cinnamon, Michael just talked about him, all the way up here now running 2nd right behind Blake Lothian. Lothian with the lead. Here comes Richards, going to try to make a run back on the bottom. James D. Morris, one of the guys that we haven't actually talked about for this race. He's up here in the top 5 trying to see if he can get something going. Cinnamon going to see if he can go to the bottom. No, he will not. Blake Lothian blocks him as they go into turn number 3.
Yeah, big block from Blake right there. Kept Cinnamon from getting right to the front. That had to scare Robbie just a little bit. But now you see Morris on the outside along with Rivera. He's bringing Mundo with him, and it might be Keith Bradley sneaking into the conversation. I can't quite tell the truck, but I believe that's who's coming into 4th place up there.
And James D. Morris has got Jose Luis Rivera all over his back bumper. Literally was a 2-car freight train trying to run up on the top lane, see if they could get up here and dethrone Blake Lothian here at the front. But now the pack's going to start to ease back to them as well. Here comes Blake Lothian, goes to the top, 3 wide as they go down the back stretch. Lothian stuck in the middle. As Morris is going to be up top, and Chris Cinnamon is going to come away with the lead as they go into turn number 3.
Whoa, what is shaking out here into 3 and 4. James Morris just going to be left in no man's land there on the top side lane. Chris Cinnamon now our race leader off of 4. Robbie Richards right on that back bumper. Now Blake Lothian leads the top side lane. You start to see a little sketchiness happen right behind. Looks like Taylor Peacock there in the 81 machine. But right now, Robbie Richards will take us across the line. No, Chris Cinnamon will take us across the line. Blake Lothian top side being pushed by Jose Luis Rivera. Jacob, who we've called that name a lot here tonight. He is hungry to get up to the top spot.
And he is doing all he can. He's using everybody that he can to get to the front. It is all but calm at the front of this field. Everybody trying to see if they can get their name to the front, or excuse me, get their truck to the front, get their name called. But right now, Chris Cinnamon, he has the lead. Blake Lothian going to see if he can dethrone him as they go into turn number 3.
They roll into 3 and they storm in here. We got to watch a little thing on the bottom. There goes Robbie to the top. I was just getting ready to say they're coming off at different angles. We've almost had to a couple of times getting hooked right there. So Robbie wanting to get out, get clear, and change spots. Hopefully he can feel a little better about where he's at.
And Richards is going to be at the front. He will lead this lap, but Blake Lothian going to get the run on the top. May be able to clear Robbie Richards right here. No, he will not. Chris Cinnamon going to give the push to Robbie Richards. They're going to go side by side. Lothian and Richards side by side. Rivera, Cinnamon, they're going to be battling for third side by side. Everybody trying to chase these guys, and everybody making some very bold moves this early in the race, but it's side by side. Robbie Richards, Blake Lothian into 3.
I think some of these drivers know what's at stake here tonight, Jacob. They have to win to get into that championship 6. I talked about that championship fund for the Monday night series. We expect it to be just a tad bit bigger for this Friday night series as well. That was over $400, folks. Right now, these drivers are trying to race it out to make it in that championship 6. Riding along board with Jacob Klinkart in that 5. He is steady inside that top 5.
Lothian is actually clear of Robbie Richards. He was for a second, but he is not now. Richards back to the bottom, shoves it in there into turn number 1. Cinnamon right up his back bumper. Rivera still trying to push Blake Lothian, see if they can get him clear.
Whoa.
Now Rivera's going to be up his back bumper, shoving him, literally shoving Blake Lothian down the back stretch. Lothian will be clear for just a moment, but he will not at this moment. Richards, Lothian still battling it out at the front.
As we're starting to see the players come to the front, we're seeing Dodson up to 8th, Doucette to 9th, Bradley to 10th. Everybody's starting to get into this race. Doesn't look like they want to lay back much anymore. I think they're trying to put their calculators in their head like, hey man, I just gave up 10 points right there. I may need to get a few back. We're going to see some tremendous racing as we go back to 1.
And a couple of these guys, one of them that was up front, Stephen Thomas, all the way back in the 14th spot, and Cody Knott, who started dead last, basically the caboose on this big freight train field here at Talladega. He's up to 13. He is actually starting to try to see if he can make some moves to get back up to the front and up at the front. Blake Lothian, Robbie Richards still battling it out as they go into turn number 3.
Yeah, we're airtight at the top of the grid here around 3 and 4. Jose Luis Rivera again finds himself behind another truck on the top side lane, behind Blake Lothian, that 43 truck. Things getting a little squirrely off of 4 right there's Robbie Richards, our race leader, is being pushed by the 3 of Chris Cinnamon. One thing that's standing out to me tonight, guys, it looks like nobody is happy with who's pushing them. Everybody is eager to get to the top of the grid, as right now our new race leader, Blake Lothian, takes us into 1 and 2.
Rivera was going to try to jump down in front of Richards, but he thought better of it. Richards had the run, and he's going to get right back up right beside Blake Lothian. Lothian trying to side draft him. From what I'm seeing when they're going into the corners, it looks like that the inside lane will prevail, but on the straightaways, this top lane is able to get the momentum and be able to clear this inside lane. But before they're able to clear the inside lane just jumps right back up on them. So it's just back and forth between this inside and outside lane.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier. You get that little bit of a lift so you're not running into the truck in front of you in the corner. The outside, they're a little more spaced out. You'll see it on the 3rd lane later. They will come with a head of steam like you haven't seen all night long. That's something to watch for as we get later in this, because we're seeing a lot of up, down, and moving around, which is not what you want to see.
5 trucks on the top, all of them led by Blake Lothian, seeing if they can make some kind of move go. Whoa, they were not. Wow, got one getting a little bit squirrely back there. I believe that was Ashley Dodson. They got a little bit squirrely and just kind of broke the momentum on that top lane. But up at front, Blake Lothian still trying to see if he can get around Robbie Richards to go into 3.
Yeah, Jacob, I saw that coming towards me here in the corner in the front stretch. It was getting very, very gnarly there for the 88 machine of Ashley Dotson. But right now, though, Robbie Richardson at 48 still leading the way. And Jacob, right now as I head towards you, and one, boy, it's so hard to get points out here tonight because this action is just so high pace here tonight, Jacob. Down into 1 and 2. A lot of big movers into the race so far. Chris Cinnamon up 8 spots. We look at Blake Lothian up 8 spots as well. Jose Luis Rivera up 8 spots. That's now we're off for 2.
And Richards, wow, just jumped straight up in front of Blake Lothian, trying to get this top lane, try to see if he can drag a couple of them with him. Cinnamon was obliged. He took the bottom and just went for it. But now Richards, he's going to have a decision to make. He was clear for a second. He thought better of it, but for a second, he could have went to the bottom, blocked Cinnamon. But right now, it's going to be Cinnamon, and it's going to be Robbie Richards at the front.
Yeah, we're seeing these water temps up as they're in the draft, and we're starting to get to a boiling point with these drivers. They're trying to find a dancing partners. They're a lot of wiggling them, and that's why you're going to see other guys bail out here and there. It's just these guys need to hold a pretty wheel, as you hear all the time. Keep it where it needs to be. Get it around here.
16 trucks separated by less than a second and a half as they come off into the backstretch. Right now, Robbie Richards still leading it. Blake Lothian right up his tailgate. Here's Jose Luis Rivera. Them 3 have actually cleared the bottom lane. We'll see if any of them take a shot to the bottom. No, they will not. They'll stay in the middle. Now Rivera goes down to the bottom in 3.
Oh man, Jacob, things are so crazy off of 2, but there on the entry of 3, things were crazy as well. Robbie Richards is seeing this all in his rear view mirror, all these moving pieces, all these Jenga pieces. You pull the wrong piece, the whole thing will fall, and I think that will happen here in stage number 2. It hasn't happened yet, though. No cautions on the racetrack as Robbie Richards takes us down to 1.
And Rivera looked like when he went through the tri-oval and going into turn number 1, he was back and forth wiggling the wheel. Maybe a little bit of tire wear is starting to come into play on that 20 truck. But right now, here comes Lothian. Ashley Dodson was actually one of them that actually got a little bit squirrely. Big, huge run up on the outside lane. Lothian will be clear. We'll see if Dodson's able to get clear as well as they go into 3. But right now, it's Blake Lothian leading for the moment.
Yep, seeing at the point right now, I think he wants to stay up high. Not going to have a choice now as you see Robbie Richards fill the inside. Dodson with a huge push right there. Now, there's another thing to think about, folks. This tri-oval right here doesn't look bad. Somebody gets a bad push here, we can be in for a calamity as well.
And there is a little bit of a bump right there on the bottom lane as they come out of the tri-oval. That may affect them just a little bit, especially with these tires that are starting to get slickened up, starting to get heated up. And it also could affect them with the air that they're all playing with right now at over 180 miles an hour. But Dodson, once again, for 2 laps in a row, gives Lothian a huge shot right here. Lothian will take the lead, but here comes Richards. He's going to see if he can battle back on the bottom line.
And just a few laps difference here in stage number 2 than what we saw in stage number 1. And guys, we saw how squirrely these drivers were with those steering wheels. Right now, Blake Lothian's going to lead that outside lane off of corner number 4, crosses very long front stretch here at Sweet Home Talladega. Across that Geico restart zone 43 truck, though, is going to have Robbie Richards at his side door going into corners 1 and 2. And they're going to be drag racing off the corner here.
And here at Talladega, as you talked about the start-finish line, the long front straightaway, this is very, very different to the sister track at Daytona down in Daytona Beach, Florida, with the start-finish line being almost at the entrance at turn number 1. That's going to play into key at the end of this race. But right now, Blake Lothian still leads. Dodson still seeing if he can try to get both of them clear. If Dodson is able to get them both clear, I would not be surprised that 88 goes to the bottom.
3 drivers on the outside with nothing to lose. Make that 4 drivers not play off, 5 drivers not play off, all on the outside line. Giving everything they've got to these guys that are trying to make the championship dreams come true on the bottom. We'll just have to wait and see how aggressive they're going to be, if there's going to be any difference in aggression with playoff guys and non-playoff guys.
Painter all the way up to the top of the racetrack, Clinkard all the way down to the bottom, and the one poor soul that's stuck in the middle, that is Brandon Bullock. That's going to be stuck as 3 wide coming off of turn number 2. I mean, Blake Lothian's still trying to get all he can with Ashley Dodson. 3 wide back here in the back as well. And Doucette, one of those guys that started in the back as well, he's all the way up here in the top 10 as they go into turn 3.
And guys, I'm sweaty up here in the booth, about to take off my suit jacket because the action's so high paced right now. Blake Lothian's going to take us off of 4. Robbie Richards to the inside here with just a few laps remaining here in stage number 2. It's been the same battle up here. One thing I'm noticing, though, the draft's starting to get to a couple of drivers here. Devin Painter's going to try to lead a hard charge with the animal. Keith Bradley, the 29, push him along down to corner number 1.
And they are going to get a huge run as they're going to come off into turn number 1 and turn number 2.
Ooh.
Bradley going to give Painter all he can right here. I would not be surprised if he's straight up his tailgate as they go into a little bit of squirreliness right there as they go into turn off into the back stretch. Painter is going to get a huge run, 3 wide for 3rd, but all up front is Blake Lothian leading this bad boy.
Goodness, as I was saying, these non-playoff guys, they are not worried about what anybody thinks about it. All 3 of them taking it to the front. Of course, we're watching this high lane. If they can get this high lane going, it will go straight to the front. It's just the way the guys have to lift, the way the air works. They will go straight to the front if they can just get some clear sailing for a little bit.
Well, all that squirreliness right there actually dropped it back. I mean, they was battling up front for the lead, but once Painter was able to get up there, it dropped them back. Now they're going to start racing real hard for it. Rivera going to get a shot from Chris Senneman. He's going to see if he can actually finally get to the front. He has tried everything possible to get to the front, but he better watch out. 3 wide for 2nd. Doucette up top. Lothian on the bottom. Senneman on the bottom. Now Senneman's in the middle. Everybody trying to see if they can get what they can get as these stage points is fixing to come into play right here in about 4 laps.
It's so magical. We have a 3x3x3 race coming off of corner number 4. What a beautiful shot. If you're watching along with us here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network, if you're listening along with us, we appreciate you doing so, as well as right now we're going to have a 3 wide battle. Jacob into 1 and 2.
Doucette all the way up to the top. Lothian in the middle. Ashley Dodson on the bottom. 3 wide for the lead as they come off of turn number 2. Now it's 3 wide for 3rd. Doucette all the way up in the top lane. Robbie Richards down on the bottom. Doucette's going to get all he can get from Devin Painter. Doucette trying to see if he can make his presence felt all the way to the front. 3 wide in turn 3.
3x3x3 all the way through turn 3 and 4. And what this does, folks, this negates the side drafting. You can pull down on somebody, but you're going to give the other lane a wide open shot. So hold a pretty wheel. See what got the momentum. Right now it is 4 against 5. And the top lane is holding its own. As I said, I've done it too many times. That top lane is going to come to the front.
In the middle lane, looks like that's where you want to be. That's exactly where Blake Lothian is. Ashley Dodson, Rivera, Doucette, they're going to go 3 wide for 2nd place. Senneman going to see if he can get something going. Robbie Richards is going to get all the way to the back. We got a spin in the back.
They're spinning in the back. No caution yet on the racetrack. Still racing into 3 and 4. We'll have to see who's leading the race. Big wreck on the backstretch here, guys. We saw that coming, though. We almost predicted that up here in the booth. We'll have to see, though, big implications of who was leading this race into the corner, because I believe that will bring an end to stage number 2.
Yeah, and you'll see Clinkard and Kyle Hess right there. We know they're involved. We just have to catch the rest of it here on the replay.
Yeah, from what it looked like from my bird's eye view, it looked like James D. Morris got a little bit squirrely, just got a little bit loose right there coming off of turn 2. We talked about this earlier in the race. These tires going to be starting to wear. And the one poor soul that he ended up hooking was Jacob Klinkart, one of those guys that desperately needed the points. One of the better plate racers, as Michael said, in this particular series, in the Triple M Pulling Truck Series. Morris just gets just a little bit loose, comes down and just hooks Jacob Klinkart. And from there on, the big one ensues here on the backstretch, on the Alabama Gang Super Stretch here at Talladega.
That was 3 playoff drivers involved with the Morris miscue right there. You got Klinkart, Bradley, Cody Knott, all getting a little damage. And we understand here, any damage is bad when it comes to these aero tracks. It just looked like he had a big run, didn't lift quick enough, didn't exactly know what quite to do, stuffed it down on the inside, and then calamity ensues.
And you talked about it honestly, Michael, with Cody Knott, one of those guys that started in the back, trying to miss the big one, and here he is getting caught up in the big one as well. But you called it right there. 3 playoff drivers getting caught up in this. I mean, it was a matter of time, especially with them going 3 by 3 by 3 at one point in this race. It was just a matter of time that the big one was going to ensue right there.
And I gotta say, guys, you know, your heart breaks for the 5 machine of Jacob Klinkart as now the field is gonna head down pit road. And mention it here to start off the broadcast. These drivers were working with 3 sets of tires here, 100% fuel capacity. And in this pit stop, guys, I know you both have experience here at the high banks of Talladega. What are you focused on more here? Because you know you're gonna have to pit one more time before this is all over with.
I mean, honestly, I think you're going for the tires. Honestly, some of these guys that are the better plate racers, they're going to be able to probably go ahead and get their tires. I mean, Jacob Klinkart, he took a huge slide down the backstretch, so obviously he's going to take the tires. Probably most of them that got caught up in that accident that slid their tires, definitely going to go ahead and take them. But that's what I would think at this particular point. I mean, Will, you talked about it. They're going to have to make another pit stop. I wouldn't be surprised if that next pit stop happens. I would not be surprised some strategy come into play where they may just go ahead and take 2 tires, or they might not even take tires at all. They may just go ahead and just fill it up and just go on.
Yeah, I would expect several people from here on not to take tires again. It'll be fuel, of course. You got to have the fuel. But if I'm doing it right now, I'm on pit road. I'm getting 4 freshies right here. And then I'm trying to keep my track position for the rest of the race. Unless it gets squirrely, you may still see guys driving back because we still got more than half of this race to go.
Yeah, and talking about leaders of the race, let's see if we can get a quick word in with a guy who's been up front for a lot of the race here tonight, and that's the 48 machine of Robbie Richards. Robbie, you got us on a copy of the Nazareth 360 Racing Network Radio?
Yes, sir.
Man, you've been in the top of the grid so far here tonight. Very frantic pace to start off stage number 1 and 2. Been surprised by the pace? Are you loving it there at the top?
When I'm up front, I love it. But when I'm in the middle of it, I don't want to be in the middle of it. But I got to be in the middle of it so I can get in front of Jose. And unfortunately, I think Jacob got in that wreck. But got to stay in front of them 2 guys so I can get hopefully in the final 6 now. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to be aggressive being that they're up here. Jose's pretty good at super speedways, so he's not going to be easy to get. So it's just going to have to stay up front and through this last pit cycle, plan it out right, and hopefully get back up here and go for the win.
Yeah, talking with Robbie Richards, the driver of the number 48 machine. And Robbie, you just talked about it there. You touched on it, how you're on the outside looking in. Is it sort of like the whole season comes down to this race? Is this your championship race?
And essentially, yes. I mean, because if I make it, then I get to go run for the championship. If I don't make it, then I mean it's over. So, we're gonna. I don't know what the points are looking like right now. I don't know who's close to what. I know we all finished pretty close in stage 1. Jacob got the extra point or whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at it as a must win as of right now, because I don't have an update. So, if I don't win tonight, we'll have to see how it plays out. But for sure, definitely looking at it like this is the last race for me for the season. It all depends on how it plays out.
Awesome, Robbie. Before we let you go, anybody wanted to shout out here, any sponsors that have supported you along the way?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Blake, man. He claimed he owed me one from last week, but so he helped me out get the lead there and get up front, and I'll give him a shout out and some of the other guys through here. And really everybody watching. Thank you guys for watching. We'll try to put on a show.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate you taking the time, Robbie, and the green flag is about to wave, so we'll let you go. Good luck the rest of the way, my man.
Thank you.
That was Robbie Richards, the driver of the number 48 machine. And guys, you kind of heard it there. No strategy here tonight. Just make sure to put that 48 in the victory lane.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to be able to beat some of these other guys. I mean, he talked about one of them, Jose Luis Rivera, one of those guys that is really, really good on this particular type of racing here at Talladega Superspeedway, and it has showed. He's been at the front for the good portion of this race, but I don't know, Will. We're going to see what's going to happen right here in these last 50 laps.
Yeah, sweet home Talladega has been pretty sweet so far here tonight in the A's Lawn and Landscaping 200. Let's kick it off with the last 50 laps of this race as we're already going to go side by side down to corner number 1 with Ashley Dawson, the 88, and Robbie Richards side by side now into 1 and 2.
We just talked to him. Robbie Richards is going to see if he can take a shot, but he has got absolutely no friends on the top lane all the way. He's going to get hung out. As we would say, from a driver's perspective, hung out to dry all by himself. Stephen Thomas is going to be able to get by him, or maybe not. He might actually let him in, but for the moment, right now, it's Ashley Dodson and Blake Lothian going into turn number 3.
Yeah, everybody trying to get single file there, which if it was real NASCAR, I would expect, but this is iRacing, folks. We got to get to the front, so Robbie's finally going to pick up some help. I can't quite make out who's right behind him. Looks like Dave Hagen right there behind him. And get a little push up here, try to get the top lane rolling again.
And Dodson looks like he's going to drop back to the back of this field and see if he can maybe go back there, maybe help somebody out, maybe a strategy, because all these guys are going for it. Here they go. Robbie Richards all the way to the top. Jose Luis Rivera stuck in the middle, 3 wide as they come off of turn number 2. And one guy that we have not talked about, that's Dan Hagen, all the way up there pushing Robbie Richards. Hagen going to go to 2nd. Rivera going to be down into 3rd. And look at this. All these guys going. Jacob Klinkhart all the way up here in the top 10 after getting caught up in that last wreck.
What is even happening right now as we're into 3 and 4. We're going to ride on board the 37 machine of Raul Meza again, having a pretty good race tonight, gentlemen. Well, we know the bad luck of the 37 machine right now, trying to lock in a top 5 here as we go across this front stretch. We'll see that onboard camera. He has some hungry dogs right on the back bumper here, trying to eat up spots, one of which is Jacob Klinkhart in that 5. Trying to get around the 39 machine of Dan Hagen, though, into 1 and 2.
And Klinkhart, we thought he was going to be in some serious trouble getting caught up in that last caution, getting hooked into the fence, but it looks like that truck is probably going to be just fine, I would say, right here at this point. He's going to be right up behind Raul Meza. They're going to try to see if they can go to the front. Dan Hagen seeing if he can push Robbie Richards. Klinkhart all the way up into the back of Raul Meza as they go into turn 3. It's still Robbie Richards.
Yeah, and that's Dane Hagen, guys, in the 39 truck for Warrior Racing. Him and his teammate, Raul Meza, are heading for the outside right here. Klinkhart obviously didn't have too much damage whatsoever. That's good to see. Keeps his hopes alive. We see the pole sitter starting to come back to the front. Painter running 4th on the bottom. So we got Warrior in the front, Klinkhart, another Warrior, 17, Brandon Bullock. These guys have decided they're going to pull the pin and go for the front.
And Klinkhart, he got pretty much thought that he got annihilated in that last caution. He is not playing around anymore. He's going to see if he can just keep it up at the front. And up at the front, it is Raul Meza. Here comes Dane Hagen. Thank you for that, Michael. Dane Hagen all the way to the top. See if he can drag these other 2 trucks. Brandon Bullock right behind him. But right now, Raul Meza leading this field with Klinkhart right behind him.
Yeah, guys, with moves like that, the 39 machine, Dane is going to make sure we get that name correct, trying to put that NASA rocket into victory lane. Trying to find some help, though, on the top side lane. No help so far, though. Raul Meza, though, 37 machine, leading the way across the line. Not something we say a lot here at the NASCAR 360 Racing Network, but it is awesome to see that orange and green leading us off at 2.
And Will, Talladega is actually one of those tracks where you can have somebody that you wouldn't see up front running up front. Raul Meza started this race 23rd. That's about as far back as you possibly can be. He was all the way in the back when he started this race. Up front now with Jacob Klinkhart right behind him, Robbie Richards, and Jose Luis Rivera. That's going to be your top 4.
Yeah, we're starting to see it single file out a little bit, and I'm going to make a public service announcement for everyone. These boys in Warrior Racing, I've joined them for next year. These are going to be my teammates next year, and I love seeing them guys heading for the front, trying to run harder, faster, and smarter. this battle's really heating up to the front. We need a little help, a little more help on the top.
And as Ashley Dodson going to see if he can push Keith Bradley, one of those other guys that also got caught up in that last little scuffle. 3 wide back here around the 8th position. Bradley and Dodson's going to see if they can get pushing all the way up to the front. Meza, who was the leader, is actually going to drop to the back on the bottom lane. That's going to leave the lead for Jacob Klinkart, but Klinkart better watch his back bumper. Raul Meza, Robbie Richards, Keith Bradley, all of them trying to see if they can get some of it.
Yeah, again, we're 3 by 3 by 3 all the way down to the 5th position. Right now, Klinkart's going to take us off the corner, though, as our brief race leader. Uh-oh, here comes the animal on the top side. There's Keith Bradley. Jose Luis Rivera, though, is going to be squeezed in the middle there for the 3rd position. Jacob Klinkart will take us across the line with Robbie Richards pushing him along in the 48.
And honestly, I would have thought that with that last caution that we had, everybody would have maybe settled down just a little bit. But no, they are not. 3 wide, 2 wide. Everybody trying to see if they can get to the front. Klinkart still leading. Robbie Richards is going to be 2nd. Devin Painter going to be 3rd. And then from there on, it is Jose Luis Rivera trying to see if he can get back to the front. Dane Hagen is going to see if he can try to push him up there as they go into 3.
I can see he's going to try, but then he's going to leave him out to dry. But he's going to, oh boy, he's going to sneak right in the line there. We're going to get some laps put in here. You're starting to see some heavy hitters coming up the outside lane. They're going to make a run for it here pretty quick, probably. Just need a little more help. Dane's going to jump out and try to help him a little bit.
And Bradley's going to see if he can help Hagen as well. Get Hagen back to the front. He knew, or he saw that Hagen was one of the faster trucks, and he went all the way to the front. 2nd place was as high as he went, but still, he was up at the front. Bradley knows he's got a fast truck. Bradley going to see if he can push Dane Hagen. Bullock down on the bottom. Everybody trying to see if they can get something sorted. Derek Kilgore is also one of them right behind Bullock. Everybody trying to see if they can catch Jacob Klinkart, who is leading the race as they go into 3.
Yeah, Klinkart leads the way, though. Devin Painter in the 99, he looks hungry in the 3rd position. But we just saw right there a little bit of a feeling out moment from the 48 machine of Robbie Richards. Poked that nose to the outside of Klinkart, thought about it for a minute, pulled right back behind the 5, as now the 5 will take us across the start-finish line. Jacob Klinkart, our race leader here as we creep up to almost 40 to go.
And you talked about Devin Painter. He is still riding that momentum from last week, winning at Rockingham. Granted, he's not in the playoffs, but still, he is still hungry, wanting to see if he can get another win, go back-to-back here at Talladega. Keith Bradley back here in the back, getting a push from Ashley Dodson, seeing if they can get around Kilgore, or maybe not. Here comes Bullock, going to jump up. They're going to see if they can make a run as they go into 3.
Yeah, Brandon Bullock, strong move to the outside. If they can get a little more help out there, they should be able to work their way right to the front. Right now, Klinkart, Richards, Painter, all these guys, they're strong on the bottom. It's going to take 5, 6, 7 trucks and have to get a little more organized with the draft to move themselves to the front.
And Robbie Richards is going to go to the top, and he's going to have Rivera is going to be right behind him with Bullock behind him. Richards says now's the time to go. Painter's going to be right up behind Klinkart. Big, tight 3-truck line right here on the top lane. Robbie Richards is going to see if he can get it done. Rivera right up his tailgate. Bullock's going to see if he can catch up and help him out the best he can. Richards will go to the bottom. Robbie Richards leads, but Rivera and Klinkart are still right behind him.
Yeah, Rivera there in the 20 machines getting pushed by the 17 truck of Brendan Bullock. Good to see the Brendan Bullock back inside the top 5 after a couple not so good races here in Nazareth, though, trying to lock in a win. I feel like once this race starts to build up, guys, with about 20 to 25 to go, these drivers are going to get a little antsy, going to want to get around one another on the racetrack. But right now, it's Devin Painter taking us down to 1 and 2.
And these guys know that, Will. I mean, these guys know that this is going to be their shot to get into the Championship 6 next week at Charlotte. This is the race right here where anything can happen. This is the race where you can manipulate the air and do everything that you possibly can to be able to maybe even luck into a win. But right now, Rivera getting a huge shot from Brandon Bullock going into turn number 3. Robbie Richards is going to see if he can stuff it on his inside.
You see Bullock with the big push, and that's that little lift I was talking about, fellas. You got to lift before you get to the corner. But what you don't want to do is lift and then fade up a little bit. You want to stay right on that bumper. He was able to catch back on. Big push right down the front, right through the tri-oval right now. He's giving Richards a battle with Rivera there.
And you basically talked about it, Michael. The reason that they have to lift right there is because they're not able to lock those bumpers in the turn. If they do, it's going to spin the guy out in front of you, as you talked about earlier, Michael. But they are making it work the best that they can, and they are showing that they know what they are doing. Keith Bradley going to see if he can sneak up here and get a little bit of going right here. He's going to be side by side with Jacob Klinkhardt. Richards still on the bottom. He's going to stuff it back in on Jose Luis Rivera. He's keeping him honest, I'll say that. But Richards has the lead as they come off of 4.
Yeah, I absolutely love those onboard camera shots, especially this rear view shot we see Munda right behind Evan Payer in the 99 machine. We're riding on board with last week's winner right there. And you see how crazy the traffic is behind that truck. He has Ashley Dawson, the 88, right there on that fender. Things are crazy up here, but tight. No caution so far on the racetrack, only that brief one to end stage number 2.
And Rivera's still going to see if he can get something going. Bullock may well obviously give him the shot real tight. Rivera almost come down and give Robbie Richards the door coming off of turn number 2. Tried to slow him up, maybe do a little bit of side draft, but Rivera will clear him. Let's see if he jumps down to the bottom. Bullock's still right behind him. Rivera may go to the bottom. No, he will not. Bullock got him up there. He's going to stay true to Bullock, see if he can pull him as well.
And I'm for those of you that don't think the side draft works in a sim, you just saw Rivera drop deep on the Richards right there, able to pull out in front. But of course, that shorter way around, Richards able to keep him from coming down. He's clear now. We'll see if he takes the bottom.
And Bullock is actually clear for the moment. We'll see what Bullock does. Bullock really very hesitant. He straddles the inside white line. He didn't know where he really wanted to go. He didn't know if he wanted to go around him or stay with him. And that's going to cost him. Robbie Richards going to fill that hole. He's going to go back to the front. Klinkhart's still pushing him. Painter's still pushing him. Bradley's still pushing both Bullock and Jose Luis Rivera up here in the top lane. All 6 trucks doing all they can, but right now they're watching the battle between Robbie Richards and Jose Luis Rivera.
Yeah, one thing to watch out for too here as we come off of 4, Robbie Richards on the inside, Jose Luis Rivera in the 20 on the outside, is guys, we're starting to creep up to that tire wear window. Of course, we saw all these drivers head down pit road, get those fresh Goodyear Eagles at the end of stage number 2. But as we saw in stage 1 and 2, this is that marker where things are starting to get a little icy on the racetrack, if you want to say.
Yeah, you can see it right there from the top lane. Bullock really squirrely. Bradley looked like he may have been a little bit squirrely as well. Rivera, basically all of them right here in the top. Rivera tried the side draft a little bit, tries to see if he can pull Richards back. All that's going to do is just pull him straight back to Klinkhardt. Klinkhart's going to give Robbie Richards a huge shove going into turn number 3. Richards will clear Jose Luis Rivera in turn 3. Now it's side by side between Klinkhardt. We got a caution on the speedway.
Caution on the speedway right there as we were riding alongside with Brandon Bullock. And one thing I wanted to explain to guys, it's much more air here than it is tires. There we see the 93 of Zach Hartwick. Maybe we can catch up, see what happened to him. Might be a little bad push going wrong.
From what I'm seeing right here, it looked like Doucette was in the middle. Both of them were back here battling. Doucette gets tagged in the left rear, and then just a huge calamity going into turn number 3. They were actually trying to get around the 96 of James Morris. He was all the way up at the top. They were 4 wide for a moment, but Doucette getting hooked in the right rear straight into the
right
fence.
There.
Yeah, it looked like Doucette and Munda on the inside right here. Let's see what happens. Well, we're almost 4 wide. I don't know if Morris was going to fall back or if he thought he had a run, but Doucette got a little loose. Oh, he got pushed down. I can't tell the number of that truck that pushed him down right there.
It was the 00 of Huck Wigington.
That was Huck Wigington. Huck got pushed Doucette down into Munda, and it was a calamity was on. So, yeah, that one was pretty easy to see what happened there.
And some of these guys right here that was able to get past it was Chris Cinnamon in the 3 and Derek Kilgore in the number 11. They were right behind every bit of it. They saw it all unfold right in front of them. Kilgore almost got right rear hooked from James D. Morris. So a lot of guys, including Chris Cinnamon, one of those guys that's in the playoffs, and we talked about it. I mean, Talladega does not discriminate. It doesn't matter if you're in the playoffs or what. It will eat you up and spit you out.
And guys, as we take a look at this replay once again, Joey Doucette in the 16 is going to be one of those major players in this caution. And he came into this race 14 points to the good in third position, so we could say he may have gotten himself into that championship 6. But this might shake things up just a little bit towards the end of this race. We've already seen one caution on the racetrack here, barely any to start this race. This might be the time where we start seeing those guys in the green start to drip down on the red here in this last race before we set that championship 6.
And I believe you are 100% correct right there, Will. I mean, it's very unfortunate to see Joey Doucette, who has had some very good runs, won at Homestead in the playoffs, and had a great run there and had a great playoff run, but it's not over yet. I mean, he's still down on pit road trying to get damage fixed, trying to get what he can fixed and see if he can get back out there, because we still got a long way to go in this race. We still got over 30 laps left in this race, so anything can happen. We've seen it throughout this race. Anything can happen. So, I mean, some of these guys, they're going to see if they can get that damage fixed, get back out there, and we'll see what happens.
I'm a little speechless right now. I don't call out a lot of people. I don't do that. I never want to do that. But if you're 3 wide on the outside, you have to commit and stay up there. James Morris knew that. He got shuffled out. If Huck stays high there, everything's good. I'm sorry, I don't want to call anybody out, but there was no reason to try to fill a hole that was not there. You have an entire another lane, take your medicine, go to the back, try to work your way back up again. I'm sorry, I have to say it. That was just, I don't understand the move right there.
No, that's why we love having drivers up here in the booth. It's a perspective that we don't have, Michael. It is awesome to have you up here in the booth with us. But here, we'll take a short break here. I expect this to probably be one of our last breaks of the evening here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. We'll be right back for the drop of the green flag for the last 30 laps of the A's Lawn and Landscaping 200. Welcome back, everybody, to the A's Lawn and Landscaping 200. Guys, we just saw what can be considered probably one of our first official cautions. Of course, we had a caution to end stage number 2, which was about 3 or 4 trucks, but that was our biggest caution of the night that we just saw right there. But it looks like that pace truck is getting antsy there, pulling off of the field. We're ready for the drop of the green flag here in the A's Lawn and Landscaping. Of course, the same guys at the top of the grid right now: Chris Cinnamon, Jacob Klinkart in that 5, Jose Luis Rivera, Robbie Richards behind them, Devin Painter, Taylor Peacock, Keith Bradley, and all the other players here in the Triple M pulling truck series right now as Jacob Klinkart takes the green flag down to corner number 1.
And Michael actually talked about Taylor Peacock being one of those guys that's going to be one of those players. Here he is right here coming to 30 laps to go. He's up in the front. He's up here in his wheelhouse as they come off of turn number 2. Painter gonna see all the side draft that Peacock was able to do. Almost came down and got him in the door. But up front, Chris Cinnamon gonna get a huge shot from Robbie Richards. They're gonna go all the way down to the bottom, slide right in front of Jacob Klinkhardt. Cinnamon, one of those guys that barely missed that last wreck, all the way up to the front with Robbie Richards in tow.
Yeah, and these guys get back up to full song, come storming into 3 and 4. You see Robbie with a huge push to Cinnamon there. If you can get 2 trucks hooked together, you see what it can do. But I told you guys, Peacock ran his own super speedway league. He is a ringer at this stuff. He's great at it. He's going to bring Keith Bradley right along with him, Ashley Dodson. These guys are going to the front right now.
And you basically called it. There they come. Peacock up top. Bradley right behind him. Bradley actually spent a good little bit of time on pit road during that last caution. Not real sure why. Maybe had a little bit of damage. But Bradley going to see if he can push Peacock up here. Give Chris Cinnamon and Robbie Richards a run for their money. Peacock's going to be able to get to the right rear of Robbie Richards. No, he will not. Here comes Klinkhardt. Is he going to shove it in as they come off a turn from number 4?
Yeah, you can't miss the lime green paint scheme of Taylor Peacock and the 81 machine. He's coming, being pushed by the animal of Keith Bradley, but there goes Robbie Richards in the black and white Oreo looking machine here tonight. He is trying to put that 48 in the championship 6 next week. He'll take us across the line as our race leader with Taylor Peacock and the 81 now pushing him along on the top side.
And Peacock's actually very, very hesitant where he wants to go, and now he's got his mind made up. He's going to stay on the top. Bradley going to be pushing him. It's Robbie Richards, Taylor Peacock. They're going to be going side by side. Bradley going to give him a huge shot, much like he did to get him in this situation. He's going to do it again. Bradley pushing Peacock, and they're both going to slide right in front of Robbie Richards. Very, very tight, sliding in front of him as they come off of turn number 4.
Hugely aggressive move right there, but as I said, there's no doubt they were coming to the front. The outside lane can do this over and over again. What it comes down to is, what can they do when it comes down when they are all door to door to door, which we will see later on. But they got Ed Osborne along with Ashley Dodson. They need a couple more trucks to come up top. They can do the same thing those 2 guys did if they can keep it hooked together.
Well, Ed Osborne's going to see if he can make it work anyway. He's got Ashley Dodson right behind him. Basically, both of these trucks all by themselves, trying to see if they can get something going, be able to get it working. Derek Kilgore seeing if he can slide up there and give them a push. Maybe a 3-car train might be able to do it, but right now it's all Taylor Peacock, Keith Bradley, Robbie Richards. That's your top 3.
Yeah, as we look right now, Taylor Peacock still leading the way off of 3 and 4. Keith Bradley right there as well, Robbie Richards. But here comes somebody we haven't called at all here tonight, guys. Ed Osborne in the 42 machine. He is hard charging with Ashley Dawson, pushing him along in those blue rim machine 88. Now Ed Osborne leads us into 1 and 2.
And Michael, you called it. They needed just a little bit of help. Maybe that 3rd truck that Derek Kilgore was able to give them that little bit of a push, and now they just absolutely hung Kilgore out to dry. But it's all Ed Osborne up front. Ashley Dodson running 2nd. Peacock running 3rd. Keith Bradley, he's going to be in 4th. Robbie Richards to be 5th. Single file actually right here for about the first 6 trucks.
I feel like we're going to be single file for about 3 laps because you got 4 teammates coming along right all together right there. I'll expect them here in a moment just to jump right up. But great job by Osborne and Dodson to keep tight enough to put a run on 5 trucks and go right around.
And Klinkhardt back there as well, trying to get Rivera lined up right behind him, Kilgore as well. They're going to see if they can make that run. They've got enough of a gap right here. They're just patiently timing it right now, seeing if they can get something going. Peacock actually blinking a little bit at the front of the field right in front of Keith Bradley. I'm sure that probably wouldn't scare him that bad for the moment. But at the moment, it is Ed Osborne, Ashley Dodson, Taylor Peacock, Keith Bradley, Robbie Richards, and Chris Cinnamon. That's going to be the top 6 trucks that's breaking away, but now Clinkard has actually caught up to him.
Yeah, Clinkard in that 7th position. Jose Luis Rivera still inside the top 10 in 8th. Derek Kilgore in 9th. And Devin Payne in that 99 rounds out our top 10. You can see the exact top 10 here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. As we come across the line, we see Taylor Peacock. We see Ashley Dotson and Ed Osborne, somebody we didn't even think about here tonight. The 42 taking us into 1 and 2 as our race leader.
And check this out right here, running in 11th, just outside the top 10, Cody Knott. One of those guys that's in the playoffs trying to stay out of any type of wrecks or cautions or any type of misfortunes for any of these other drivers. Running in 11th place, got Stephen Thomas right behind him. Cody Knott trying to see if he's able to steer clear of all the chaos that Talladega allows and see if he's going to be able to make it into that championship 6. But right now it's Ed Osborne leading.
Now, speaking of Cody right there, he lost out on all of the stage points that the other competitors got. He's going to have one shot at this, and that's to hook up with his 3 teammates, get to the front, and win this race. And folks at home, this is your normal Talladega. I'm sorry. I don't care if you watch the big boys or you watch us. It's right now they're going to put some laps in. They're going to find their dancing partners, and in about 10 laps, 15 laps from now, it's going to be on like Donkey Kong.
And Michael, you just talked about what Cody Knott done. Honestly, I think that is actually a very good strategy for Cody Knott. I mean, granted, he is in the playoffs, but he's seen what everybody was doing up front. He's seen everybody battling really, really hard, doing some crazy moves, and he's seen all the wrecks. He doesn't want any of this. He wants to be able to make this thing all the way to the checkered flag. So I love the move right here by Cody Knott, but still up front, it is Ed Osborne leading here at Talladega.
Yeah, as we see him right now across that Geico restart zone. Things very calm on the racetrack, guys. I would have to say this is the first time in the race we haven't seen that 3x3 racing. We haven't seen the side-by-side racing, but here we go. We have packs of trucks heading down pit road.
And this right here will actually get them to the end of this race right here if they're pitting. Now, I would say that they're going to just go in, take no tires, get enough fuel to fill it up, or they may even fill it up, but I would think they're going to get just enough to fill it up, as you got a bunch of them coming off. Stephen Thomas, one of those guys, Blake Lothian, Adam Newbert, and Adam Newton, all of them coming off pit road.
Some huge names on pit road there. Just a second, we had Adam Newbert, Adam Newton, Blake Lothian, Stephen Thomas, and now Joey Doucette down pit road.
I'm kind of surprised at this, guys. We just had a caution. Nobody fueled up during that caution. Because if we get a couple more cautions, they could have made it from before. But I guess it'll all work out for them right now. And to bring up the point situation with Cody and his strategy, he was 2 points down. He lost 18 points to Robbie Richards. He lost 16 points to Jose Rivera in a 24-truck field. I think he should have got a little more aggressive, a little bit sooner. But like I said, hopefully he can make it work, get up with his teammates, get to the front and win this race.
And the big deal on that right there, Chris Cinnamon looked like he was actually going to make that pit stop. He was not able to. He missed it by just a little bit. So we're going to see if he's going to be able to make it in the pits right here. But he has got a long way to go. Everyone has checked out from him. But up front, it is all these guys up here just battling it out. As you see one guy going in, that's going to be Devin Painter. It looks like he's going to be all by himself going in the pits.
Yeah, as we start to see this Yahtzee reshuffle of the grid right now during these green flag pit stops, to go off of what you were saying, is now we have Dane Hagen in that 39 and Brandon Bullock in the 17 side by side into one. Michael, I think this one might be just a Goodyear Eagle. Throw some fresh shoes on those trucks, get you nice and fresh and clean, because we're looking at a window around lap 85, 86. The tire wear is going to start to come into play once again. And I feel like for a lot of these drivers that want to contend here tonight, you don't want that truck slipping and sliding there with 20 to go.
I don't think anybody's going to take tires whatsoever. I think that's going to be splashing full of fuel and get me out of here. I think if you're taking tires, you're going to lose too much time. I hope I'm wrong on that. I see what you're saying, but I think everybody right there is going to take fuel and fuel only, and they're back in the road.
Well, a bunch of these guys still cycling it out, trying to make something work. Adam Newton and Adam Newbert That's a tongue tire. But Adam Newton and Adam Newbert seeing if they can catch back up. But up front, some of these guys that have stayed out is Brandon Bullock, Jose Luis Rivera, and Jacob Klinkhart. Klinkhart, remember, had got caught up in that earlier accident with James D. Morris. And we thought that his truck might have been in really, really bad shape. We didn't think, that he was going to be a player. But he had enough minimum damage to be able to get everything fixed and be able to get back up here and race with the leaders. But right now, Brandon Bullock, Jose Luis Rivera, and Klinkhart, that's your top three.
And that lead pack will bypass the pit road once again. Bullock, Rivera, Klinkhart, this other pack, they're going to wait for everybody to cycle through. And this is where the big boys shine. They get on and off the pit road a little bit quicker than some guys. Could cost you a second. So these guys need to make this count when they come to pit road right here, or they're going to lose ground.
Yeah, they're going to have to seriously make it count. Bullock was actually up there leading that last lap. He actually gives way to Rivera, Klinkhart, Kilgore, Dane Hagan, and Kyle Hess. All these guys have not pitted yet. The first guy that has, the first guy that's actually out that has made that pit stop is Stephen Thomas with Blake Lothian right behind him. We'll see if Brandon Bullock and some of these guys are going to be able to pit right here.
Yeah, right now as we're down the backstretch off of corner number 2, and Michael, I think you're exactly right there. Looking at those pit times, those drivers were going for splash and go. So you have to think that some of these drivers here that have yet to head down pit road might be pushing that envelope just a little bit. For some of these drivers that have to win to get in, you look at the likes of Jose Luis Rivera, Jacob Klinkhart up there as well. These drivers will do anything to make sure they're in the championship 6. Because right now we're off the corner with Jose Luis Rivera leading the way.
And they are seeing what they can make work right here. Rivera going to see if he's got Klinkhart right behind him. Kilgore, Bullock, Dane Hagan, all of them trying to line up the best that they can. Now, for some reason or another, Klinkhart's going to drop up to the top lane. He's going to let Bullock go. He's going to let everybody go right here as he's on the top lane. But coming off forward, we'll see if any of them decides to go into pits right here.
Yeah, we'll watch here, see if anybody comes to the pits. Maybe did Klinkhart, if we can look it up, I don't have it on my scoring. Did he pit during the caution?
He did not. He pit last pit for Jacob Klinkhart in the 5 was lap 64 for the 5 machine.
All right, so he's going to have to come to pit road. I thought maybe he'd just fall into the back to get a little more draft, save a little more fuel, but he's going to have to come to pit road.
And you basically talked about it right there, Klinkhart. Basically trying to do what he can, but Jose Luis Rivera still leading this freight train. But guys, I will say this, Stephen Thomas with Blake Lothian, Adam Newton, Newbert, Taylor Peacock, Ed Osborne, all these guys lined up in a line. They are not racing each other one bit, every single one of them in a straight line draft, and they are chipping away at these 6 guys that's up front.
Oh, I'm itching for the floodgates to open here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Whether you're watching along with us here on Facebook or on YouTube, go ahead and like, subscribe, share, because we are in for one heck of a finish here tonight. We're going to form our championship 6 in just less than 19 laps here in the A's Lawn and Landscaping 200. We've seen different guys lead the way here tonight. We have other drivers that have yet to head down pit road. Jacob, this race is bound for greatness at the end. We have a few more laps ticking down to 3.
And Kyle Hess, this is a guy that we haven't actually got to talk about. He's actually going to be the leader for this portion of this race. So put Kyle Hess up at the front. And it looks like it's going to be Jose Luis Rivera going to be right behind him. Still waiting on these front 6 guys to make that pit stop. They will not make it at this time, but I'm telling you, they better figure something out pretty quick, because Stephen Thomas and the rest of the pack, they are catching them in a hurry. As we got one spinning off in turn number 3, I believe. Robbie Richards. And the caution is out.
That's going to help those leaders right there. They were going to get freight trained, but that top 6, that's exactly what they needed. They can come in, take their service, get right back in line, and then we are going to see a phonetic finish to this race.
Whoa, what just happened here, guys? Sorry about that, Jacob, but we'll check out this replay here. Maybe you can tell the folks at home what happened here, because that just shocked everybody here.
That's what I was fixing to say. I mean, he went for the push. I believe he was pushing. Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I don't even know who he was pushing right there. It was Ed Osborne. He just came right up to his back bumper and just give him a little bit of a push. I mean, I didn't really think that it aggravated the truck that much, but I mean, maybe his wheel went dead or something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that just looks very weird to see that right there.
Yeah, guys, I've never seen anything like that. That was a completely square push. He had to have some sort of malfunction, but yet you see him working the wheel right there. That is crazy. I've never seen anything like that on a square push.
Well, guys, we're just as perplexed as everybody here watching along with us on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. But, Jacob, let's see if you can ask the man himself. Let's catch up with that 48 machine of Robbie Richards.
Robbie Richards, this is Jacob Reeves up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Robbie, I'll be honest with you. That right there looked crazy as heck. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, what exactly happened right there?
Throttle got stuck. I don't know what's going on with it. It's done it before, and I got him to throw a caution in another race before, but there was no way I could do it, and I didn't want to take out the whole field or whatever who was in front of me. So
Well,
I turned
that
left.
was,
I turned
man,
left. And
yeah. I
it
mean, that's a
sucks,
lot of
but-
respect to see that right there. I mean, a lot of people that I have seen, a lot of people would have just kept it in the throttle and just basically just cleaned everybody out. But I mean, that shows a lot of respect out of you. But I mean that I hate that. I mean, we was talking about, we thought it might have been some kind of mechanical deal or something like that. We just didn't know exactly what it was.
Yeah, I don't know what it does. It just stays like I'm hitting the gas even though I'm not even on the throttle. I have no brakes. The clutch don't work. Gear shifter, I can't put it in neutral. Everything's just frozen, and I can turn. That's all I can do. But I didn't know.
Check your firmware, my man. I'm sorry to see that, Robbie. Great run
Yeah.
so far tonight, though, but check your firmware. I've had that do it to me.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because we were doing good. We probably set up in a good spot. But we'll good luck to the rest of the guys, and I'll be watching the rest of it.
Yeah, great race, buddy. Sorry it happened.
Thank you, guys.
Well, Robbie Richards, he's not out of it yet. I mean, we still got a good chunk of the race still left to go, still over 15 laps left in this race. So anything is possible. He can still be able to maybe get a little bit lucky with the points that everything is, and maybe be able to sneak his way into that championship 6.
I agree 100%, Jacob. I mean, he had a great bunch of stage points. So if some calamity happens here and a couple guys get taken out that didn't have stage points, he could sneak his way in. So hopefully that doesn't end that way for Robbie, but just unfortunate to see some sort of snafu, happen and take him out of the race.
Yeah, Michael, I'll ask you this question here as we creep up towards the end of this race. I cannot believe we're almost to the end of the A's Lawn and Landscaping here. What's your mindset as a driver now? You're going to get all your pit stops out of the way, all your strategies out of the way right now. Basically, you're just going to launch that truck to the top of the grid. Is that sort of the strategy you would think that's going through the driver's mind?
Well, right now, Will, they want to know who they can dance with. Do I have a teammate close? Do I have this? Because we got Stephen Thomas, we got Blake Lothian, their teammates. You want to find somebody that's going to help you. Okay, you can hold it to the floor all you want. That's not going to help you here. You got to have a dancing partner, and they're going to find the best one they can find, and you're going to start seeing 3 wide here with about 8 to go, I'm going to assume. And these guys they're going to go for all they got. They got to go for broke.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I mean, in my strategic races that I've had here at Talladega, I mean, even if you got the friends, I mean, if you're right there maybe on that, I guess you could say right there on that breaking point or right there on that cut line, like some guys like Cody Knott. I mean, honestly, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to kind of hang back and see kind of what happens. I mean, I know it's like Will said, I mean, you got to go. I mean, crunch time is to go, but you basically talked about it, Michael, with about 8 to go, maybe 7, 5 to go in that range. they're going to start getting 3 wide and everybody's going to start getting squirrely. So do you want to be up in the middle of all that that's going on, or do you want to have a shot to try to miss it if you're back in around the 12th, 13th, 14th mark? You know, I mean, that's just a question for the drivers, you know, of basically where they feel comfortable at.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, wherever you're at now, you don't want to go backwards anymore. So if someone takes you 3 wide, you're there. And of course, we see these in-car shots. There's nowhere to go. You can't see anything. All you can do is hold your line until something opens up. So if you want to bail out now, that's up to you. I think that every mindset for every one of these guys is they got to go. And Cody knows it. Everybody knows it. They got to go.
There's no better time to go than right now, especially going to ride on board the 26 of Cody Knott into 3 and 4 right now, guys. I'd have to say this is probably one of the most important restarts of the entire season for all these drivers here. Boy, we have raced another 26-week long season. It's coming down to now just this restart and next week's championship race. Right now, we're going to wait for Barney with the flag up there in the flag stand. Once again, we're going to have another exciting restart here in the A's Lawn and Landscaping. Let's get it rocking and rolling once again here in Sweet Home, Alabama, as the 86 machine of Kyle Hess will take us down to corner number 1.
And Hess is going to get a very, very good jump right here. Blake Lothian right behind him. Stephen Thomas was right there on the front row, but he's going to see if he can get something going as well. Adam Newton, Adam Newbert, some of those guys that made that early pit stop, we're going to see if they're going to be able to get something going. Peacock going all the way to the top. Michael talked about him as being one of these big-time players, as he's actually going to get turned. Newbert all the way down to the bottom. The big one happens right here on a restart. No caution yet. Now the caution will fly.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wasn't able to see. Everybody was positioning themselves, and then around they go. We'll have to wait for the replay here, but Dane Hagen, big time engine damage. You see the smoke. Hate to see that for anybody right there.
And we'll check out this replay here, guys, on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network that's going into the corner. You'll see right there, there's brief contact. That's going to send a truck up to the top side lane. No contact yet. Oh, there it is right there between the money man of Adam Newbert in the 4 and Taylor Peacock in the 81. You see the 81's going to come back across the track there, make contact. Raul Meza's right there as well. He's going to make contact with the 39. And you just start to see the dominoes fall at that point, guys. Doesn't look like there's a lot of championship drivers involved in this. Ooh, you hate to see it out of the 39. He's going to make a nosedive in the inside wall.
And basically, I mean, Cody Knott was actually able to sneak right through that. Barely was able to sneak through it. And that was one of those guys that was in the back that I was talking about that needed to have a good finish right here. He was actually in prime position. I mean, I talked about it a while ago. Do you want to be up front when all this wrecking is going on? I mean, you obviously want to be in front of it. You know, obviously you want to be up there where Kyle Hess and Stephen Thomas, all those guys was. But in the back, you want to be able to try to get around it. Cody Knott was actually one of those guys that was able to get around it. So good job for him to steer clear of it. But I'm telling you, that took out a good look of cars. I mean, Dane Hagen, one of those guys, he was having a phenomenal run, was actually running up toward the lead at one portion of this race. So, I mean, we talk about it all the time. It's very unfortunate to see drivers get caught up in accidents. But, I mean, that's just the product of super speedway racing.
And Adam Fleeger, do we have a shot from behind Adam Newbert? I have never seen that truck ever make a mistake like that. Was that a bad push, or was it just the air messing with him so bad? That's what I'd like to see. Do you have like a rear shot right off the back of Adam Newbert? We may not have that shot, but that's okay. I just never there. Did he get a bad push, or was it just air? Let's play it. No, that's just the air. The air fooled him, and around we go. I've never seen Adam ever make a mistake like that, so I'm not calling anything out. That had to be aero that moved that truck.
Well, actually, Mike, from what I'm actually seeing, it wasn't actually Newbert, the one that actually got loose or anything. It actually looked like it was Peacock, the one that actually came down. It looked like they actually kind of met in the middle. Newbert was going to come up a little bit. Peacock was going to come down. They both met right there about that inside dotted white line. So that's actually what got Newbert snuck around and spun out. But I mean, we talked about it. I mean, these guys are trying to go for every point that they possibly can. So, I mean, Peacock's going to be in the pits. Newbert's going to be in the pits. And we're going to get another crazy restart right here with less than 10 to go.
Yeah, folks at home, these guys make this look so easy. That shows you right there. I mean, one tiny move and it's all over. It could be tires, it could be aero, it could be a lot of things. And it's just, I've never seen Adam ever make a mistake like that. I've never seen Peacock make a mistake like that on a super speedway. And just unfortunate for all the guys that got caught up right there.
Very unfortunate indeed, as we're under caution here, guys. And I sort of predicted it. No cautions really in the first couple stages of this race. Of course, we had one to end stage number 2. But now the caution flag's starting to fly, starting to see these drivers get a little bit more testy with one another. I'd say, Michael, you really predicted that in the middle of the race. You predicted these drivers to get a little bit more antsy with one another. Right now, Stephen Thomas leading the way. He is a championship driver. Adam Newton right there in second. We have Hess right there, Blake Lothian in the 43, Kilgore in the 11. My question to you guys before we go green, who wins this race?
If I had to take a pick, honestly, there's one guy that has come through a lot of adversity that I have kept my eye on for the short period of time that I've actually been able to broadcast here with Nazareth. And that's that 20 truck of Jose Luis Rivera. We talked about him, how good of a plate racer he really is. That would be the one guy that I would be watching. But the other guy, if I had to pick another sleeper pick, it's got to be that 26 of Cody Knott, who started tail end Charlie in this field all the way up in the 8th position right now, making it work right now with the strategy that he's had in this race. So that'd be my two right there, is Jose Luis Rivera and Cody Knott.
I will take our defending champion, I believe. He's our defending champion, the 23 of Stephen Thomas, with his teammate right behind him, with the momentum on the top. Jose is going to have something to say about this. Adam Newton, newcomer to the series, one of the most talented drivers in the series. Going to be tough, but I'm going to take the 23 right here.
Okay, all right. So we have our picks here tonight. And guys, I would have to say, I'm going to go, I like the pick of the 20 of Jose Luis Rivera, but I also like how strong the 43 truck of Blake Lothian has been here tonight. Also, you see the strengths of that 43 to go from a road course to the high banks of Daytona, running inside the top 3, top 5 here tonight all race long. For me, though, guys, I'm going to look past those drivers. I'm going to look the 8th position of last week's winner, Devin Painter in the 99. Has showed a lot of speed here tonight, shown that he can run in that draft, is in a solid position in 8th. As now we see that pace truck pull off here, and of course we'll see another caution drop before the end of the A's lawn and landscaping. We'll kick off this restart here from sweet home Talladega. Stephen Thomas, last year's champion, will take us to the drop of the green flag. He'll have Adam Newton to his inside. Let's get it rocking and rolling once again down into corner number 1.
Thomas is going to be able to get away. He's going to have Blake Lothian right behind him. Newton might have got caught sleeping just a little bit on that restart. Newton going to be down on the bottom. Lothian up top is actually going to go to the back. Rivera stuck him 3 wide on that restart. Rivera is trying to go to the front the best that he can, but he has no help. He's all by himself at this point. Cody Knott trying to get up there and help him. He's actually in a 3-way battle right now with Lothian and Kilgore. 3 wide for about the 5th spot as they go into turn number 3.
Right, the folks at home, I missed about 2 laps. I thought it'd be 8 to go, but we're 3 wide now. They're going to need a little more help on the top. But you got Lothian, Bradley, and I think Dodson up there. If they get another couple trucks, this thing is going to get really rolling on the top. But it's starting to dissipate all of a sudden, as soon as I talk about it right now.
And Taylor Peacock, one of those guys as well that got caught up in that last wreck here. He is all the way up in 11th. Jacob Klinkart right back there in the back as well. But up front, Stephen Thomas better watch his outside. Kyle Hess and Derek Kilgore going for it on this outside lane, trying to see if they can make what they can on the top work. They got Rivera and Cody Knott on the top lane. Hess is going to be able to clear and get down. Barely was able to get down in front of Stephen Thomas as they come off of turn 4.
Oh my goodness, right now is the point of the race where everybody's nervous and antsy. I am up here in the booth as we see the 86 try to pull off the 23 off the floor right there. The 23 was not having it. He kept him in check on the inside lane. We have a big run from the top side as well. Here he comes. That's Derek Kilgore in the 11 being pushed by who else? Jose Luis Rivera in that 20. Jacob, things are getting crazy into 1 and 2.
And Bradley is up top, and he's got Ashley Dodson all over his tailgate, going 3 wide. Had Bullock stuck in the middle. Bradley, the animal, is going to go from the 5th spot 3 wide all the way to the front and go around Jose Luis Rivera. He's got help from Ashley Dodson, and it looks like it's Blake Lothian right behind him. They are trying their best. They are all the way up against the wall. Rivera and Bradley battling it out.
There you see Cody Knott. We talked about him. He's right behind Rivera in the middle. These 5, 6 trucks up on the top. Momentum, folks. They can keep that momentum up. They'll lose in the corner, but they will gain a ton down the straightaways. We are getting wild and crazy in Talladega, Alabama.
And these two guys that I talked about, Bullock gets tagged, and he almost gets up into the top lane, but he's able to save it. Here comes Adam Newbert. Where did he come from? Making a huge move with Taylor Peacock right behind him as they're battling it out. Keith Bradley and all of them. Newbert goes all the way to the bottom. Blakeheart stuck in the middle. Bullock up top. 3 wide back here, but all of this action going on as Rivera leads them as they come off of turn number 4.
As the fans are on their feet off of corner number 4 right now, we can see why Cody Knott in the 26 machine has worked his way inside the top 3. Guys, we thought he was a long shot coming into tonight's race. He is trying to book his ticket to Charlotte next weekend. Right now, down to 1 and 2. We have less than 6 laps to go. Everything comes down to the next 6 laps around Talladega.
Cody Knott basically played my strategy that I like at these plate races, to just start in the back, let everybody do what they got to do, and be there at the end. Cody Knott shoving Jose Luis Rivera. Dodson shoving the animal Keith Bradley. All of this right in front of Derek Kilgore, who's stuck in a 3 wide battle with Taylor Peacock and Blake Lothian as they come off into turn number 4.
Yeah, we got Peacock, Cinnamon, Painter, all up top, all big hitters. Coming around the top side, you got the animal stuck in the middle right there. Rivera on the bottom, Knott. This is insane, these guys, what they're being able to do lap after lap after lap. Some of the best in the business, folks. And here comes Peacock with Cinnamon right on the back bumper.
Peacock was actually caught up in that last caution, thought he might be in a little bit of trouble, but now here he is battling for the lead. 3 wide, Rivera, Bradley, Peacock, all of them coming off of turn number 2. Peacock gonna see if he can get a run with Chris Cinnamon. Dodson is pushing. Oh my goodness, we got a caution on the speedway. It's Jose Luis Rivera getting spun on the backstretch.
Oh no, the 20 machine. We'll see what happens. It looks like Cody Knott may have been involved as well. We'll confirm everything. We'll get that replay ready for you folks at home on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. That's going to have huge championship implications right there. That's essentially also going to give us, guys, a green-white checker to end this race as well. Here in the A's Lawn and Landscaping, here we go, guys. Here's that replay.
Yeah, it looked like from my angle, it looked like they came off of turn number 2, and it was really, really tight coming off this corner. Knott just tried to, well, it looked like he was actually going to try to give Rivera the little bit of a bump, and he just hit him right in the left rear and spun him out. It wasn't nothing intentional that Knott did for that particular instance. He just did not hit him square. I mean, Knott looked like he got a little bit loose coming off of turn number 2 and tried to gather it back up, but he was still trying to keep it in the gas and just hit Rivera in the wrong spot. Thankfully, Rivera was able to keep it off of the wall, so he's not going to have any damage, but wow, I mean, what a turn of events here at Talladega.
Yeah, you can see the little difference in exit, a little bigger run, and then once you're there, You either got to get on the brakes and get run over, or that right there is going to happen. There's not a lot you can do about it. It's going to really hurt both these guys' chances to get to the next round. So let's just wait and see how it plays out for everybody.
Well, anything is possible here at Talladega. Sorry about that, Will, but anything's possible here at Talladega. I mean, these guys, granted, they get caught up in this a little bit of a, I guess you could say it's a mishap. I mean, obviously, like I said, it was nothing intentional that Cody Knott did right there. Michael, you called it. They're just trying to get everything that they can. I mean, we're coming down to the end of it. They got to do what they got to do to try to get there, and it was just a mishap. But coming down to a green-white checker, we've seen how aggressive these guys can get. Well, I mean, basically with just 10 to go. I mean, they was aggressive when it was coming to 50 to go. So, I mean, I wouldn't count these guys out at all. They still got a shot to get up there and get some extra points, possibly even win this race.
Yeah, and if we could flash those point standings on the screen for the folks at home here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network, because we're going to take a look at the top 10 here on the grid and also here in the point standings. We just had Cody Knott involved with that, guys. Jose Luis Rivera was tagged up in that. Jacob Klinkart. Now, Cody Knott and Jacob Klinkart, two drivers that were on the outside looking in. Jose Luis Rivera was in by 2 points. Do you think this holds true at the end of this race, guys?
I think it may hold true because if you think about it, you know, Jose Luis Rivera, he started back in 14th, but by the time they got to, I'd say probably lap 5, he was already up in the top 5. He made a huge charge from the start. He wanted nothing to do with the middle of this pack and shot all the way to the front. He's been at the front, got him some much needed stage points as well. So he's right there on that cusp. I think he's going to be all right. Not one of those guys that was at the back of the field, wanted to play that strategy that I was talking about that I like to do. So this may hurt Cody Knott a little bit, but maybe he's going to be able to get back up there. But Jose Luis Rivera, he might be all right.
I'll tell you who might be worried right now might be Chris Cinnamon. +5, did not get a lot of stage points in either stage. Klinkart did, Rivera did, Richards did. Now, of course, Richards out of the race. They're going to finish well ahead of him. Klinkart is going to have something to say about this when it comes to Cinnamon and Jose Rivera. So this is going to be very interesting toward the end.
Yeah, we'll take a look right now. Jose Luis Rivera currently would be above Cody Knott on the racetrack, currently in the 15th position. Cody Knott down in the 17th spot. But guys, so we're going to have this green-white checkered finish that's going to essentially set our championship 6 next week at Charlotte. All these drivers are trying to punch that golden ticket through. You win and you're in. For those drivers on the outside looking in, those championship drivers that have already booked their ticket, we'll see right now into 1 and 2. Once again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight to our Facebook, our YouTube at Nazareth Racing. You can find us there at Nazareth 360 Racing Network as well. Seen an incredible race so far here tonight, guys. We had interchanges on leads. We have guys dominating certain portions of the race. But right now, we have the animal Keith Bradley in the 29 with Taylor Peacock in that 81 side by side. Going to start these things off here in the green-white checker.
Yeah, and it's going to get crazy right here. I mean, this is going to be the craziest restart that these drivers have seen all day long, all night long, excuse me. They're going to be going for it wide open, the best that they possibly can. Still got 3 green-white checkers for this particular race, for this series. So, I mean, I honestly, in my personal opinion, I honestly think that we're going to have another green-white checker because these guys are going to get so aggressive because they know what's at stake, guys. They know exactly what's at stake. It's a shot for that championship 6 at Charlotte. So I would not be surprised if we have to use another green-white checker.
Right here, watch for 3 teammates. 1, 2, and 4. Bradley, watch for him to possibly make a move to the top. Pull him, Peacock, Cinnamon right to the front. These are teammates. They're all going to get up there. And then you got a Mission 1 driver of Dotson. You got a swim driver of Lothian. But 3 teammates going to control this restart.
Here we go. The pace truck pulls off of that lead pack, being led by Taylor Peacock in the 81, Keith Bradley in the 29. The animal is hungry here tonight for a checkered flag. He'll try to get it here in this green-white checker. The green flag is waving. We're ready. The drivers are ready. The animal will beast us down to corner number 1 with Taylor Peacock in the 81 getting pushed by Chris Cinnamon as we'll race it out with 2 laps to go.
And Bradley is the animal, and he may be unleashing the beast right here for this green-white checkered. Peacock up top, Cinnamon up top, Lothian up top. All 3 of them trying to jump to the top, see if they can try to get around Keith Bradley. Painter down on the bottom. Looks like Ashley Dodson's going to be right behind Bradley. Everybody trying to see if they can push their way to the front. Peacock may be able to get him as they come into turn number 3. Cinnamon all the way up his tailgate.
Yeah, Bradley, big push from Dotson as they come into turn 3. He's going to end up with the lead coming out here. This is going to be all about the momentum. Can Cinnamon get enough push on the Peacock to get him up to Bradley? The answer to that is yes, folks. Here he comes. They're going to come to the start finish. White flag's going to wave. Keith Bradley's going to take the white flag, and then we are going to be off to the dance, baby.
All in is what these guys are doing. All in. White flag here at Talladega Superspeedway. Keith Bradley stuck on the bottom. Shortest way around. Peacock going to see if he can get that run up top. Chris Cinnamon going to see if he can give him a shove. Lothan right behind him. And don't count out Ashley Dodson right there on the bottom with Painter right behind him. Here comes Cinnamon. Going to give the shot to Peacock. Watch this. Lothian goes all the way to the top. 3 wide for second as they go into turn number 3.
Yeah, 3x3x3 for second, third, fourth, and fifth, all the way down the racetrack right now. It doesn't matter. Keith Bradley is our race leader off of 4. He's going to have to race it down this long front stretch here at Talladega as big runs are forming there from the middle of Taylor Peacock. See if he has enough to beat the 29 to the line. They're moving. They're shaking right now. Keith Bradley's going to get past them. We're at the line. Taylor Peacock wins. Taylor Peacock wins the A's Lawn and Landscaping 200 at the line. Wow.
And what a huge wreck after the checkered flag. But Taylor Peacock was able to get that top lane. He tried it. He made it work. And he has got to send Chris Cinnamon a early thank you, or excuse me, an early Christmas card for that right there. Ashley Dodson, basically it was almost really 4 wide coming to the line. Painter tried to sneak it in there as well. But Taylor Peacock able to survive here at Talladega Superspeedway and win the race.
Yeah, great move from Taylor. And let's look at it, folks. This is not a win and you're in for Taylor, so this is going to break it all down to the points. This is going to be crazy by the time this ends. But you see this calamity, it'll break out in the back of the pack. These leaders are just wide open. Fantastic job not to wreck each other. And a great win for Taylor right at the stripe.
Absolutely crazy finish right here at Talladega. You're going to sit here and watch it. I mean, it looked like Bradley was right there stuck on the bottom, and then at the last second, he saw Taylor Peacock making that run to the top, and that block was just too little, too late. But Taylor Peacock, like you said, Michael, made an outstanding move, a veteran move here at Talladega Superspeedway, and was able to come home with the win.
And this is the shot right here, guys. If we could freeze frame it right at the start-finish line, you see Taylor Peacock getting that momentum, that big push from Chris Cinnamon. You're seeing trucks crash behind those leaders, but right at the line, that photo finish is going to be one to remember right there. Oh, wow. What a shot here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Freeze frame that. Frame it up, put it on the wall. That couldn't be any more of a beautiful shot here of the finish of the A's Lawn and Landscaping 200.
And some of those guys that actually needed good finishes, some of them that actually got caught up in a little bit of misfortunes in this race, was Jacob Klinkard actually getting 6th after it was all said and done. And Jose Luis Rivera going to come home 7th as well. So that's going to really help them out. State their case to be able to go into the championship 6 next week at Charlotte.
Yeah, big rebound for Jose there. That should probably propel him into it. Let's look at this on board shot, right? Just craziness. Hold it together, fellas. Hold it. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Just calamity, everybody. If you think this stuff's easy to do, I'd say go ahead and get your computer and give it a try.
Absolutely. As we see the chaos and calamity that ensued right at the line, we're right on board with Rilo Meza in that 37. Looks like everything is officially official here tonight in the A's lawn and landscaping. We see Blake Lothian shot as well. He's going to get the worst of this at the stripe. The 43 truck was very strong here tonight, guys. Not going to finish the way he wants to right there. You see the 37 in the shot as well. Like Lothian's just going to get clipped from behind. We always see that, though. The front stretch crashes at Talladega on the last lap. But let's take a look at those official results here tonight. Of course, we just saw that wonderful win by the 81 machine of Taylor Peacock. Second place is going to go to the 29 machine of Keith Bradley, the Animal. We look at third position here tonight. It's going to be the 88 machine of Ashley Dotson. A few excellent runs here to end out this season. Chris Cinnamon in that 3 machine is going to finish 4th. We got Devin Payne in the 99. Last week's winner is going to finish 5th. Jacob Klinkart, he needed a win to make it in. Don't know if it's going to be enough here tonight. He's going to finish 6th. Jose Luis Rivera, same boat, trying to make it in with a win. Don't know if it's going to be enough, though, for the 20 machine, finishing 7th. Zach Hartwork in the 93 finishes 8th. Ed Osborne in the 42 finishes 9th. And rounding out our top 10, another solid performance out of the 37 machine, Raul Meza.
Yep, and Adam Newbert, one of those guys that needed a good run also. I mean, he's going to be hopefully very comfortable in the playoffs, going to come home 11th. Kyle Hess is going to be 12th. Then you got Adam Newton, real good run for him. Michael talked about him being one of the newcomers, going to come home 13th. Derek Kilgore, 14th. Brandon Bullock going to come home 15th. Cody Knott, one of those guys I really thought that he was going to have a good shot right there at the end to win this bad boy, but he's going to come home 16th. Blake Lothian, we just saw him getting spun around, basically like spinning around like a top, going to come home 17th. And then the rest of these guys, Stephen Thomas, 18th, Dan Hagan, 19th, and Robbie Richards having that very unfortunate deal with his pedals is going to come home 20th.
Yeah, and then we'll see Joey Doucette, 21st, got caught up in the incident with Morris and Wigington and Mundis. So 21st, Joey Doucette, 22nd, James D. Morris, 23rd, Huck Wigington, 24th, Jonathan Munda. And then we appreciate Eric Zimmerman and TJ Moore up in race control.
Of course, as we've made this race official here in the A's lawn and landscaping, we'll take a second to step aside for just a moment to catch our breaths. We'll allow the drivers to catch their breaths as well. We'll be right back with those podium finisher interviews here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Welcome back, everybody, here to Nazareth 360 Racing Network. We just saw the conclusion, an amazing conclusion to the A's Lawn and Landscaping 200. One of those drivers that escaped that chaos and calamity at the start-finish line was the 88 of Ashley Dotson. He comes home third here tonight, and I believe, Michael, you were catching up with him down pit road.
Mr. Ashley, great run, my man. Being on the bottom's probably not where you want to be toward the end right there, but did you have anything else you could have done to get past Keith or Taylor there?
Howdy guys. Yeah, no, well, honestly, I was happy just to sit behind Keith and push all the way to the end. I knew that because the guys were pinning us so down, tight on the corner, I was trying to develop a run, but I couldn't really do anything with it. So, unfortunately, at the end, being forced 3, I knew it was going to be, a top 3 finish regardless. So I was going to be happy wherever I ended up.
Yeah, that's a great attitude to have. So that was the arrow playing a little bit to it then. It was making it a little bit tight, trying to come off the corner if you were following somebody too close.
Kind of, but not really. There's a little trick I was trying to do about the momentum of the run, coming tight off a corner, and then the back of the truck getting a bit squirrely. So I was trying to anticipate when I could sort of hit Keith. Obviously, you get to the bar of the car in front of you faster than the other dude on the outside. You can have that momentum run.
Yeah, I do the same thing. A little bit up, a little bit down, little baby diamond to hit that run. But overall, man, great run for you tonight. Saw you up front a lot of patience. Haven't got to talk to you in a long time. So anybody you want to shout out, anybody that helps make this happen for you? I know you're up real late over there in Australia, and we sure appreciate you being back with our group, man.
Cheers, man. Like it's been good. Like 5 years ago, when I was running in the first series with everyone, it was great running it then. It's still great running it now. So, all I say is to all of you guys, the broadcasters, of course. Like I was turned off racing there for a while, and you guys sort of dragged me back into it. So, I get to show my appreciation by showing up and then trying to put on a show for everyone.
Yeah, we appreciate you, bud. And we know it's super late in the middle of the night over there. We'll bid you a nice adieu and enjoy the rest of your night and have a great weekend, my man.
Cheers, brother. See you later.
That was our third place finisher, Ashley Dotson, that 88 machine. Again, hats off to him for racing in those Australian hours over there. It's time to catch up with our second place finisher. And boy, when I say second, Jacob, it couldn't have been any closer at the start finish line. You're catching up with the animal himself, Keith Bradley in the 29.
Yep, we got Keith Bradley in the Nazareth Racing 360 booth. Bradley, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Keith, man, I tell you, man, honestly, I thought you had it all the way to the line. I mean, was there anything you could have possibly shoulda, woulda, coulda did right there with Taylor Peacock to be able to try to see if you could squeak out this win tonight?
I could have taken it all the way to the wall there, coming to the line, but I knew that if I did that, it would probably wrecking half the field by doing that. And I'll do the respectful thing, and I'll keep it in the middle. I'd prefer finish clean than involve a bunch of guys in a huge crash and then celebrate off a win of potentially wrecking half the field for a win.
Well, we're going into this right here. I mean, you come out with the momentum, I guess you could say, out of all the playoff drivers going into Charlotte next week. From what I'm seeing in the point standings, you're going to be very, very comfortably going into this race. So, being the championship, I mean, what's your mindset? I mean, I know you got some, I guess you could say, nerves. You're going to have a couple jitters. I'm sure you will. Everybody gets some getting ready to go to a championship race. But what's your mindset, I guess you could say, going into that final race knowing you got a shot to win a championship?
I just treat it like any other race. Play the cards that are dealt at the time, and if we're having a good run, let's keep having that good run. Let's not do nothing stupid to take us out of it by any means. Dot our I's and cross our T's all night. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Of course, I want to go in and win. Will that happen? I don't know. Just gonna have to see how it plays out. I'm pretty excited to be back in the championship hunt, though.
Well, I'll say this: you are riding the momentum going into Charlotte, basically leading and beating everybody that was your fellow competitors that's in that playoff bracket. But come home second tonight. You're going to be able to go into the championship 6 next week. But last but not least, you got anybody that you'd like to thank that has made this possible?
Oh, absolutely. All the sponsors on the truck, Blanchard's Towing and Recovery, Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling, Over the Top Designs, GT Grant Tactical and Hydro Dipping, John Hedrick over at Over the Top and Upfront Motorsports. He put a killer team together, and he paints these trucks for us and keeps us looking good. And my teammates, Taylor Peacock, congratulations on him, man. He gets his first win for the team, which is exciting. And then we finish, excuse me, 1, 2, and 4, I think. And a big shout out to Ashley Dodson. He really stuck with me there at the end of the race. I got damage in that crashing with the 5, and I really thought I was out of it. I had like 3 minutes worth of damage to get fixed, and I thought my night was over. And the 88 stuck with me all night. So big shout out to him.
Big shout out to the team. That's how you try to, or that's how you put it up front. So, Keith Bradley, congratulations on your second place win. I know it sucks to finish second that close, but still, bud, ride that momentum, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, that's our second place guy with Keith Bradley. And Will, have you caught up with the winner of the race who barely squeaked out Keith Bradley?
I am down in victory lane, down here with Taylor Peacock. We all just got a notification that the Championship 6 is set, but we have to talk to our winner first, who let his colors fly here tonight. Taylor Peacock, the driver of the 81 machine. My man, you came up in that 3 wide. You shot the gap all the way to the lead, held it down there at the line, winning by 2/100ths of a second. How'd you get it done at the High Banks of Talladega?
Oh man, that sounds good. You said again. No, man, I've had a blast. Out of all the bad luck I had this year, I had to take a few weeks off to get my daughter through the softball. I've been coaching her team and stuff. Finally got back. I just want to go out and have a good race. And man, up front, Motorsports had a hell of a race. That was a blast. I got to thank Chris Cinnamon first and foremost. He stuck. About 12 laps ago, I got spun on accident by Newbert. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it up there, and like you said, I was able to get to the high line. And once Cinnamon got connected with me, man, we just went to the front there, and we were in the right place at the right time on that last restart, and he stuck with me and got lucky and pulled one off finally this year.
And Taylor, I think you just touched on it a little bit there. You know, we see short tracks being a race of survival. You know, we see road courses be a race of survival. Was tonight's race almost a feel of a race of survival? If you could just, even if you had a little spin, as you mentioned, if you could just stay in the fight, you might have a chance to win.
Yes, exactly. And I come in, I had nothing to lose. So in terms of stage points, that didn't matter to me. I knew my best bet would just be hang back on the stages, let those boys wreck out, and it worked out tonight. I definitely just want to keep the nose clean, no damage, and give myself a chance at the end, and it all worked out.
Well, it sure did, Taylor, and I think I mentioned it on a few broadcasts leading up to this point that I felt like there was some momentum building behind the wheel of the 81, and you talked about how you had to take a few weeks off, of course, to step away from driving. When you came back, did you feel that same mojo you had from a few weeks ago that maybe if you could stay up there, you could get the job done?
Oh, for sure. I never doubted myself at all. I knew that I just had to put the race together, and like this year, there's been a couple of times it's been my own doing. I'm not saying I'm perfect at all. I've wrecked some and a couple of guys, and I've gotten wrecked a lot. I just knew I had to put a whole race together and see what happens. And luckily, and Talladega is one of my favorite tracks, so it's a good one to step back into.
Yeah, guys, any questions for our champion of the A's Lawn and Landscaping here? Of course, winning there at a photo finish. Excellent win here tonight.
I'll tell you what, Taylor, this is Mike.
What's up, Mike?
I called you out all day, buddy. I knew you was coming with this. I'm so glad to see you back in here. I really am. I love our group that we have, and I'm actually surprised Keith didn't take you to the wall, but I'm glad he didn't. And what a great run, man.
Oh yeah, if me and Keith weren't teammates, he probably would have made that move to the wall. But once he realized that I was there, Keith is a smart racer, and I love racing with Keith. I love being on their team. Him and Cinnamon, Blanchard, we got an awesome little team together. Yeah, Keith, like I said, I'm lucky he was my teammate there, because once he realized that I had a little bit of a nose on the outside of him, he took his he knew I was gonna have the run on him, but he didn't cause no wreck there. And I'm also thanks to Cinnamon, like I said, for sticking with me right there. He could have tried to go. Well, I think we were already 4 wide. He could have stuck his nose in there somewhere, but he stuck with me. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, 10-4, brother. Like I said, glad to have you back, and it's your time to shout them out, my man.
And first off, it's great to be back. I've always, I wasn't leaving for good. I just had to take a few weeks off. I love Nazareth and our group, like you said. We got a handful of guys that have been doing this since season 1. But I just like to thank the broadcast, you guys for doing this. I can't wait to go back and watch it. I know my kids always love going back and watching the races, so this one will be extra cool to watch. Everybody at Upfront Motorsports, glad to be on the team. Keith, Chris, Blanchard, John, the team owner. Appreciate all them guys, and I know I'm missing some sponsors. I didn't have my notes up. I wasn't quite ready for this, to be honest with you guys. But and Brady for keeping the league going. I know, Mike, you're one of the ones that started. I appreciate you for all you've done for the league too. You've done a lot. Thank you guys. That's all I got to say.
Appreciate it, man. Go enjoy your weekend, bud.
Oh yeah, Cloud 9, baby. Thank you guys.
And also a shout out to Taylor. Happy Father's Day to the 81 machine
Thank
here.
you.
Great
I
way to
appreciate
kick off the Father's Day weekend.
See you guys.
Yes, sir. And that was a driver of the number 81 machine who wins the A's Lawn and Landscaping here tonight. Taylor Peacock, our champion. And guys, as we're getting ready, are doing those podium interviews, our Championship 6 was set here in the Triple M Pulling Truck Series. I have some breaking news for you guys. One driver who's going to be on the outside looking in the championship race was the driver who tied for the regular season championship. That's the 16 machine of Joey Doucette will miss out on the championship by 1 point.
Yeah, that's a heartbreaker to see that right there with Joey Doucette. I mean, he got caught up in that one accident with Hut Wigington, and very unfortunate. I mean, we talk about it all the time, with the playoffs of people barely getting in, or people just being able to get in or whatever. Well, I mean, that's why we love this playoff racing. Is it builds drama, builds excitement, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, you hate to see anybody get knocked out, especially Joey Doucette, having such a great run all season long. You talked about it, tied for the championship, overall championship season standings. So it's very unfortunate to see that, but I'm telling you, I mean, it breaks my heart to see Doucette going to be out of this thing come next week.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. That's kind of a hard one to swallow. But so who took his spot? Will, is it Clinkart?
Yeah, let's talk about that Championship 6, which will be next Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at everyone's favorite track, a track that I grew up at, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Next week, Friday night, we'll have Keith Bradley, the Animal, in the 29 machine. We'll have Adam Newbert, the Money Man, of course, racing for another championship. Already won one in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series Monday night. We'll have Jose Luis Rivera racing it out in the 20 machine. We'll have Chris Cinnamon in the 3. Steven Thomas will also race for a championship next Friday. And the last driver in is Jacob Klinkart in the 5 will be our top 6.
And that's just a great drive by all 6 of those drivers. Being able to make it. Robbie Richards looked like he was going to be one of those guys to possibly sneak into that top 6 and give Jacob Klinkart a run for his money, but with his unfortunate circumstances that he had, was not able to do it. But I'm going to tell you right now, Will, and be honest with you, these guys right here, these 6 guys that I've been sitting there watching, I know I've talked about, the limited amount of time that I've been here for the short amount of time, but these 6 guys, this is going to be an outstanding race watching next week on the Nazareth Racing 360 network. This is going to be awesome right here for all 6 of these guys. Any 6 of these guys has a shot to win that championship next week.
100%. And then what's it take? Patience, little pace, and overall it takes persistence. So patience, pace, persistence. Let's see who can take it home next week. We'll probably try to join you fellas if you don't mind. We'll make this call and we're going to crown a champion next week.
Oh, we sure will. The stage is set. It's a night of heartbreak and happiness, especially for the 81 machine of Taylor Peacock. You could hear the happiness in his voice after picking up a huge win in the Triple M Pulling Truck Series here tonight. It is a heartbreak, though, for the 16 machine of Joey Doucette, who had one heck of a season up until this point with 12 top 5s and 15 top 10s. He unfortunately will not race for a championship next weekend. But for all of us here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network, myself, William Tiller, Michael McKinnon, Jacob Reeves, and the man providing all the excellent pictures, sights, and sounds here tonight, Mr. Adam Flieger. I want to thank everybody for spending their Friday nights with us. Make sure to tune in next Friday night for that championship event. You don't want to miss that at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Once again, though, congratulations to the 81 of Taylor Peacock. We'll make sure to see everybody on the track next Friday night here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network.